and welcome to Keystone Copycats with Chris and Zach. I, of course, am your host, Zach, and he, of course, is your other host,
Chris Stofferson.
That's him.
See.
So this week, we're doing something a little crazy.
This guy's getting wacky already.
We're getting wacky.
He's getting
guys.
high, too, in his voice.
I'm getting really high.
I want to do my Mickey Mouse. Ho-ho! Like,
Ha-ha.
but that's all I know. I don't know any of his other lyrics.
Welcome to Keystone Copycats with Chris and Zach. I'm Mickey.
What's Donald say? He just like gives that.
No, he
annoyed
just
sound.
does that.
No,
Like,
he does a
yeah,
that
it's
thing,
bad.
that awful.
It's bad. He doesn't have real words. Anywho, so we just finished up season 1 of our podcast.
Did you like it?
I mean, I did. Did you?
No, I was talking to the
I'm the only one here. No one listens. I'm never posting.
Just because I'm looking at you doesn't mean I'm always talking to you.
That's what it means.
I'm just always looking at you.
So now that the season is over, we're going to give ourselves a break from time loops. And you know what else we're going to do?
Get strong, big and strong by drinking milk.
Big and strong by drinking milk. We're giving ourselves a break from Keystone movies.
Thank
so,
you.
What we're doing is we've got 2 movies that came out around the same time with the same premise. And we're going to debate them. We're going to talk about which one's better. We're each going to defend one.
We're going to master debate them, if you know,
and
you know what I'm
have
throwing out there, big boy. I'm going to call you Big Boy from now on.
I don't like that.
It's my favorite sandwich, and you're it.
I'm going to call you Brawny Lad from now on.
It's just an onion. Can we talk about this? It's a rye bun and just a big old onion. Like, they're like, so just onion on it? Yeah, but a big one, like the size of the burger.
So what we need to
onion.
make clear here is that we have a guest
Oh, yeah, seriously.
in my basement. And
I was afraid to laugh at the Brawny Lad before you introduced me.
And she is just bursting to like get in on this conversation.
I wasn't
So
looking at her at all. I didn't want to interrupt me.
So let's
That was the
introduce
issue.
our guest, Sarah Davis.
Hey.
She's fantastic. We love her. She is the champion of this podcast.
Hey.
She named our show.
That's right, because all my idea, you gave one idea, and he was like, I love it. I gave 17. He goes, let's talk to Sarah.
No, his ideas were like, we're the Clipper Clappers. Like,
off,
it's like they meant nothing.
No.
He's like, beef-eating gentlemen.
Every time that I have a task, like let's name something, I just think of weird abstract band names.
Right.
Like Sandy
like door
Jervis.
in the floor. Like, that doesn't.
The New England Orchid Society.
Yeah. That's it.
But thank
So,
you,
yeah,
Sarah. That
so
was nice
Sarah
of you to
named
name
us.
our ding dong.
So in a way, she is the mother of this podcast.
That's how I always look at her.
Yeah.
Motherly.
We say
Like when we used to
say
just go to
Tommy.
parties and collect trash.
See, if you do
That was really motherly of me.
If you do
Yeah.
stuff with your hands, Sarah, because this is radio. I don't know if you. Well, this isn't radio, but this is like I don't know what else it is. It's like a podcast, I guess. So
digital
This is just like audio. So
audio.
when you're doing this little hand jive things, you got to tell people. So
No,
when you're doing
no.
it, you got to say moving hands fastly.
No, she
in a
doesn't have to
circle.
do that because you're just going to animate her doing it later.
Oh. Yeah.
I thought I got the seasonal or the in betweens off.
Oh, no, you're wrong. You have to animate the whole
I'll just
episode
animate
now.
you in there. Don't worry.
Just
about it.
just wait. If something comes up, something good
I'll
that you
actually
wanna,
animate myself talking about animating.
there you go.
Yeah, that's so meta.
Gestures broadly.
Next, we're going to be on Rick and Morty.
There you go.
That's how meta we are.
Okay.
This is the time when I wish I watched the shows that were referenced. I feel like I'm not hip enough.
I mean,
I had just started watching Rick and Morty.
You tell me about it.
I like it. It's a good show, but I don't like to tell people that I like it because it makes me look like an incel.
I feel that.
You're a woman, so you can like it as much as you want.
There's certainly
Well,
moments.
That's sexist. She's not a woman.
Clearly. Excuse
We're
me,
all
sir.
just one.
Super interesting.
Well, she's the mother, so she, by definition, is the woman.
Mama.
I've lost track. Are we doing
The
movies?
feminine
So,
energy.
so today on the show,
Uh-huh.
I am going to defend the 1998 asteroid film, Deep Impact. And what are you going to do?
I'm going to defend the Deep Impact Armageddon. The Armageddon that has a potential deep impact.
Okay.
Should I just do the
That
synopsis
sounds
that I
really
wrote?
clear.
You can if you like. We can have a little more chit chat first if you want. It's up to you.
Sarah?
Oh.
Oh, she's deciding
she was
early.
looking at her
No.
notes.
We're gonna have you decide early and often.
Early and
fucked
often.
her up
Okay,
good, buddy.
you caught me off guard, man. I was
no
about to take a
idea
sip.
what to
Like,
do.
what?
With such an
Mom.
easy question. can't handle the pressure.
It's too much, man.
No, for my synopsis though, just real fast, like
Yeah,
I didn't even bother. I just wrote oil drillers become astronauts to explode a genocidal asteroid.
Genocidal asteroid.
But
it's
it's
not
true.
trying to
It's
wipe
true.
out.
Has it not
No,
trying
it
to
gives
kill
the asteroid-
all of the specific diversities?
It gives the asteroid free will.
Oh,
number
man.
one.
Well, we need. Okay, I don't even know if I can touch that because
Okay.
of your movie.
Oh, boy.
which
I'm
we
still
really
writing
need to
notes
talk
right
about
now
that.
as you're speaking.
Okay, so
Oh, I didn't do tropes.
no, we don't.
I
we don't
I
have
did.
tropes.
I
We don't
did.
have tropes here.
I did some.
Oh boy.
Okay,
Okay, so
so I think the
hang
astronaut
on.
becomes, or the asteroid becomes a better person as his days go about.
the asteroid goes cynical to sincere. You gave it cynical.
Yeah, because eventually it's like it decides I'm not going to be a prick and try and attack the planet now.
I think it has second day uncertainty.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're right
That's what I
though.
think.
It's classic though.
Classic second day uncertainty.
Yeah.
All
Because it's
right.
like, what am I doing up here?
So Deep Impact, and I looked up the release dates for both of these
98.
movies. No, that's the release year. Deep Impact, May 8th, 1998.
This is boring.
Shut up. A comet is discovered to be on a collision course with Earth as doomsday nears. The human race prepares for the worst.
Read mine.
No,
what
you
mine
read
says.
it already.
Okay.
Well, okay, hang on. I'll see
So
what IMDb says
genocide,
about yours.
Ben
After
Affleck.
discovering that an asteroid the size of Texas is going to impact Earth in less than a month, NASA
See, I
recruits a misfit team of deep core
I
drillers.
like mine better because
to
it,
save
already
the
you're like,
planet.
okay, I know exactly how big it is.
Yeah.
Because I know how big Texas is in comparison to. I know how big Texas is compared to like Ohio.
No, you don't.
They did compare it to size.
No, it's bigger.
In Deep Impact, they
Yeah.
said it was the size of
Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
So that might be a little bit.
First off,
But they didn't say it in the synopsis.
You're right.
Yeah.
So Armageddon came out
you're
July
all over the place
1st.
with this,
So
Sarah.
I think that
You can't, the audience is so confused.
I
when
think
you
that
hear.
Armageddon stole the idea from Deep Impact because it came out 2 months later.
I did some research on it actually.
Oh, I love this.
because I was very
We
interested.
got well actually.
Sorry. No, but I was interested too because I saw a thing on Wikipedia that said, according to Bruce Joel Pubin, who was the
Cuban?
the writer,
It's just his name. You don't need to get
Okay.
upset about it.
the writer of Deep Impact, he was in a meeting, and he said in this meeting there was a production president at Disney, and he took notes during the whole time on
wow.
everything.
Wow.
And then he also said that during that lunch about his script, after that, Disney initiated Armageddon as the counter film.
What a
Oh,
prick.
wow.
And then they also later, which I thought was really, really interesting, was that after the commercial for Deep Impact came out and everyone saw all those scenes, Disney had also like upped the budget $3 million,
Oh yeah. You can tell. You
which
can tell.
included additional special effects to differentiate
Yeah.
from Deep Impact. And then I read later that they had spent $2.6 million of that $3 million on just one Super Bowl commercial for Super Bowl 32. I was like,
Well,
you
that's
really
because
blew
we
it
all
there.
remembered it.
I remember
Wait,
it.
what?
But could you really differentiate between the two, like without
No.
having seen them again as you're looking back?
I could have, yes.
I didn't watch Deep Impact till I watched Armageddon at the time, and Deep Impact I didn't watch till like Zach made me do it.
Right.
I really,
Okay.
I
That's fair.
loved Deep Impact, and I liked Armageddon back then. I liked
That's
Armageddon.
like a dirty, reference.
What?
You're doing over there?
Yeah.
Like I love Deep Impact, and then you winked at me, and I was like, okay, all right.
I think the listeners know that if I had winked at you, they would have heard a bing.
Oh. Or said wink,
Definitely.
and I would have said, "You winking at me?"
Yeah,
Because that's how we
Of
talk.
course.
yeah, that's right.
Well, how do you want to?
So-
did you want to intro yours? Did you want me to intro mine, or do we make Sarah tell us to?
I don't know. She had a lot of trouble making a decision last time.
We got a
when
mom
came
thing
to-
going on, so I feel like we're gonna get scolded. But
Mom,
Sarah also
I
doesn't seem like
won't-
she's gonna
I won't
scold us.
I'm wearing my glasses today, so it's a school marm.
That's right, as it should be.
Yeah, whatever you guys want.
Well, now we got silence because I was taking a big old drink.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
It was too big.
The thing of it is, he likes to point out these things that I could easily cut.
Uh huh.
Always.
Yeah.
So then I can't cut them because we've talked about them.
That's true.
You got to leave it in.
And that's the conundrum.
You know,
When I'm here.
I thought your nickname was the Conundrum.
That was funny.
Who noticed that the scientist driving in his Jeep?
Yeah. Oh, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, did you notice the Jolt Cola?
No.
Oh no, I didn't.
Someone had a Jolt Cola. It might have been the trucker. One of them had a
trucker.
Jolt Cola.
No, it was the trucker. He was the one taking a drink.
He was bopping.
But I was gonna say I have
Whoops.
noticed this. He's the reason that most actors don't eat on camera because he didn't know how. Like he was eating that disgusting looking pizza like a horse. He was like, you could hear him
was
breathing.
in my. I had like my headphones in, and it was like it was disgusting
If-
mouth sounds.
Pause
I
right
won't
now.
do it because
Pause right now and go watch just that part. It is like it's only like a minute maybe of him reviewing
Don't
the data.
subject yourself to that.
And he's just
It's rough.
He's wolfing it down.
you're just like take a breath, bro. Like plus that pizza looked
yeah,
it
looked bad.
was like Ninja
like a
Turtles pizza. It
Supreme.
was
Yeah.
like that's not real pizza.
Super stretchy cheese.
That's
Do you
why-
think they got like a call from like the trucker council? Like, you made us look bad. Number one, we don't eat while we're driving.
Number one, Jolt Cola Trucking Company.
You know
does not
Jolt
stand
Cola
by these
is a-
antics.
We do trucker meth. Like, wait, hang on.
We have different vices.
We drink Mountain Dew.
Red Bull is God. That's it.
It didn't exist yet.
We
were
Because
transported.
the truck that was hauling
Friends,
it.
look,
Surge.
I would just like to say that we have been transported back to a pre-Red Bull society.
Right now,
It's magical watching it.
I'm looking around. I
took
don't
me
see
away.
any difference.
I've only tried
Lot more
one
meth.
Red Bull.
Lot more
I've tried
meth.
the yellow one.
I've tried
That's it.
Red Bull.
Tinkle Bull.
Just regular Red Bull.
Bull tinkle.
I don't like the smell.
It's bad. It's really bad.
Did you
I don't
prefer
like
the
it.
original smell?
I
Joel,
don't like any of the smells.
no.
You don't like smells.
I had
This
like
just
a
in, Sarah doesn't like smelling.
I had
Nope.
like an orange Rockstar energy drink or Monster, I don't remember, but it was Warped Tour 05 or 06. They had like sponsored it, and we got like one for free. We got them for free for like playing, and it was like I was so thirsty, and water was so expensive, and I was like, I will drink this disgusting garbage.
I will drink.
It sucked. They also had little shot cups full of Yoohoo that I like drank a bunch of, and I dislike Yoohoo too. So I was just like, I was thirsty, and that was it.
I love Yoohoo, and I can't imagine drinking Yoohoo on a hot ass day at Warped Tour.
Yeah, in a parking lot.
No matter where
at
it
Riverbend.
was.
Yeah, and it's like it was
doesn't
in
like-
those little paper cups, like you get ketchup in. It was like
Oh,
that.
or like a fluoride treatment.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
would think
Who
of.
doesn't
It
want to
just grossed
drink
me out.
milk or chocolate milk out of
It's
a
not
little
milk.
Dixie cup?
It's chocolate
She said
water.
chocolate
She said-
drink.
Ew.
Yoohoo is chocolate water.
Is it?
Yes.
Drink. That's why it gets like that sediment at the bottom. It's just like completely
Yeah.
I
separated.
don't know if I've ever had one.
It's not good.
Isn't there caffeine
I'm
in
shaking
it?
my
No.
hand like I'm shaking
I don't know
a
what I'm
Yoo-hoo.
talking about.
Thank you.
I was told to say what I'm doing with my
I
hand.
pointed at her when I said
No.
thank you.
Sarah, I'll animate. What are you doing over there? What the hell's wrong with you?
No, those are for your notes for later, for your
Oh,
animation
boy.
notes. We'll
I
cut
think
her
we just
saying that
stop
out of the
now.
show. But
I think we
come
stopped
on.
the podcast in general.
Just start
That's
it
a wrap,
over.
guys.
we start a new one without Sarah.
Keystone
Yeah,
Copy
guys.
Dogs. Is that it?
I got it.
Did I get it, guys?
That's it.
So you know what I like about Armageddon
I would love to know. Is
is
it that
it
it's
starts off like the documentary there that it is with the narrator. It's like you see the globe and then the narrator all sultry is like when the dinosaurs were on Earth, it was a lush and fertile planet until a comet hit it.
it happened before?
Yeah,
It'll happen again.
It had the impact of 10,000 nuclear bombs and sent 1 trillion pounds of dust and blah. And
It was dark for 1,000 years. And I was like, whoa.
And it'll happen again, and you're like, okay.
So mine
All
Coming in hot.
So
Okay.
science, huh?
So my first note on this movie was opening voiceover. Who knew?
Yeah.
And then my next note was
It's like
the opening
Waterworld.
graphic is wild too.
Yeah.
It's
When
like
it like
Waterworld,
blows
dude.
apart.
Yeah.
Because it shows you it ain't fucking around.
No. I actually wrote voiceover, lazy man's writing. and then I wrote
You said
Shade.
brilliance incorrectly. That's not how it's
right?
pronounced.
Then I said, sounds like Aldi brand Charlton Heston. And then I realized it was really just Charlton Heston because he was pretty old at this point. And it was just like Aldi Heston. I
Aldi
don't
Heston.
know.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like him.
But I was surprised that it was him. I didn't recognize that when I was younger, that it's, I mean, just for that clip.
Oh, I didn't know it was Heston. I didn't
totally
even look it
was.
up.
We were like joking about it, and then his name popped up, and we just laughed.
But shortly after that, you find out who the real villain is in this movie, because they show the shuttle in space and the astronauts having trouble, and then like the meteors just come in and blow through it, but they go through the American flag emblem, and you're like, fuck that, someone's attacking America. So
Not
you
my
automatically know that this asteroid's a bad guy.
Yeah, but later, Ben Affleck uses that like armadillo that for some reason has a machine gun on it.
What do you mean
to
for
shoot
some reason?
his way out
It's
of that ship,
Zach.
and it goes through the American flag, which he then bursts through. So does he hate America too? You be the judge.
You got to do what you got to do.
Listen, Zach, it's called friendly fire.
No,
There's
not to the American.
There's
Wow.
casualties of war. Okay.
So
my
Pat.
Oh no,
Tillman,
here's what it was. They weren't on American soil, so it was okay.
Huh. I think the asteroid technically was American soil.
I think what it was symbolizing is that sometimes the flag is so powerful that bullets explode out of it.
It's just ricocheting
Yeah,
off
like
of
it's
it.
American
that was actually
flags-
America attacking the asteroid.
I recently saw that there was a recall of American flags because bullets were flying out of them.
They're just too strong.
There's too much freedom.
It's too strong.
First off, the two shuttles in my movie were freedom and independence, so let's not forget who the patriots are.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
They couldn't have said it enough.
Let's
by
not
the
forget
way.
that. So my next note was that this movie is a cartoon.
Yeah,
Because it is.
it's Michael Bay.
It is a
man.
cartoon.
What the
So,
fuck did you expect?
What's really funny, it is like it's very much a Michael Bay movie. But so what? Like when
Those
Billy Bob
insane-
Thornton
everything had a Dutch angle, extreme.
and
Yeah.
like whip pans
Yeah.
and like zooms and like crazy.
crazy.
The colors are so vibrant and the music is
The
bonkers.
oversaturation.
So oversaturated.
It was like my eyes were tired by the end of it.
I know it's so good. Like,
Well, so after a certain point, I really thought that like the very beginning of the movie, I really thought like all those little like asteroids coming through and like blowing up the satellite and all that stuff and hitting in like New York, I thought that was all going to be like a dream. I really thought that was going to be a fake out. And as it kept going, I was like, oh no, it's just a movie.
Zach,
Yeah.
That's just what this movie is.
Zach, if it was a dream, there wouldn't be a threat. This is a real threat
is
to
it.
America.
No, but I thought that like,
You got to shake him. Walk over there and shake
I didn't
him.
really.
Like, it's still a threat. Like it promises you in the beginning, it will happen again. Like we got to be ready always.
That's a threat.
So that was like a
That's
Chekhov's
promise. That's
asteroid.
not a threat.
That was a Chekhov's asteroid that was fired immediately.
yeah.
It was like setup, payoff. Almost before setup was done, payoff.
So when the shuttle explodes, it explodes. Now, does that happen in space? Zach?
No,
That's a
no,
big.
it doesn't.
Yeah, that was a big thing that I kept writing, like about explosions.
If it doesn't
Yeah, it was
explode,
wild.
does it
Gunfire.
implode? What happens to it then?
No, it can explode, but it's just not fire. There's
fire,
no
'cause there's no
atmosphere.
I know, but what?
oxygen?
I mean, like, but then what? How would I visually know?
Right.
If I'm like,
It would
hey,
have
Michael
that.
Bay,
It would have that big halo ring, like around the Death Star in like the remastered Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think you're like, hey, Michael Bay, you can't use a fire explosion. How do you tell the story? And he goes, I don't do it then. And I think he's right.
Period.
I think he's right.
Yeah.
I think we got.
I saw Michael Bay's
we gotta
version of
bend-
Marriage Story, and it was very different.
Oh wow. yeah.
I think sometimes we got to bend the rules, like letting
Just like Noah Baumbach's
like
Armageddon.
Bruce
was
Willis
very
play
different.
like Bruce Willis played the hero. Like I think that's we got to change it up some.
Yeah, yeah.
So I noticed that when they're in like the comm room
Mm-hmm.
for NASA, we get to meet Billy Bob.
Nassau.
Billy
Nassau,
Bob.
yeah.
He says Nassau, which is
Nassau.
bonkers.
We meet Billy Bob, and then
Thornton.
I thought it was funny that
He wasn't wearing his blood vial necklace.
that was number one. But the second one,
How am I supposed to know he's married to Angelina Jolie if he's not wearing her blood?
we need the facts here. But he told Pete, the astronaut, the one that was on the space station,
Yeah.
he's like, buddy, just calm down.
Yeah.
I'll
he
give
wa-
you,
he
I'll
was
give you
really-
a buffalo nickel if you, because that's how that works.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
if you just calm down.
I'm gonna
I
tell
was
you
like,
to calm
oh.
down, and you're just gonna.
And here's the thing: either he has a shit ton of buffalo nickels, or that works constantly.
Yeah.
Or doesn't work constantly because he still has that one nickel. He's like, I'll give you one, and then it never works out. He goes, well, I still got that nickel though.
It's got a string attached to it.
You can pull it back like in a vending machine.
Gotcha.
It's like a slug. Like,
Gotcha.
wait, that's not real.
So if he came back to Earth, if he didn't die of that massive freedom explosion,
Freedom.
Freedom.
Do you think he would have given the nickel or not? I'm doubting he would have. He seems like a man of his word.
I think he lied and didn't even have the nickel.
No.
Hot take.
Well, that's fucked up then.
Okay,
That
so
poor
the
guy.
next thing that I noticed in Armageddon is that it is the Mountain Dew of movies.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Extreme.
That's like the best way to put it. It's Mountain Dew. Like, it just is. And it's like the 90s. So hard.
I like this movie because they have like I'll get into the peppered action, but just randomly they're like, you know, if you feel like someone wasn't paying attention or about to take a piss, they're like, asteroids. Like, it wasn't even just the asteroid of the main comet. They just had randomly, like, it's Nassau. Shouldn't they have foreseen the other ones? And all of a sudden, they're like, we got something coming in on the South Pacific. And you're like, whoa. How does this keep happening where they're like, hang on.
Talking about bogeys.
No.
Talking
like
about
it's
bogeys.
NORAD or
Well,
something.
yeah, like they're like we have nine satellites in the world that can see these, and we control 8 of them or some shit like that. I'm like, well, are you not looking at all the other asteroids that are literally coming from the same direction? Like, what the fuck is happening?
He said we can only watch 3% of the sky.
There
That
are
was what he
4
said.
and it's a big ass sky.
But it's coming from the same direction. There are 4 times that they're like, brace yourself, we got asteroids.
Yeah.
Coming! It's just a bomb.
I like too that like after the whole New York scene happens, that it's like
Oh, you like the Twin Towers getting hit? Oh, that's
Wow.
interesting. That's
"Ooh,
interesting.
It's
Wow.
getting hot in here.
Commie.
I'm feeling the heat.
You know, waves
already.
can't knock down buildings. That's what I
Did you
heard.
see
Oh
that
my
in your
gosh.
movie?
That's what I'm
still,
saying.
They still stood strong, man.
I drew a
Good for
picture
them. Good for them.
just so
We're gonna need a picture. We're gonna have to take a picture of your notes
Yeah,
for the Instagram.
I'll need to animate
so
your
we,
notes.
we wondered like halfway through one of them. It seemed like there was either like molten something that maybe it should have
Which
been
is why
Maybe it was
9/11
jet
was an
fuel.
inside job, because on that picture,
Don't even
you
get
know,
me started.
Okay, about
I'm
about
just-
the 2,000 degrees steel melting thing.
Look, we're not.
It seemed like it hit exactly where the planes did, almost
Right.
like this was like they used this movie.
Look, we're
to
not
plan
an
the attack.
InfoWars podcast.
No,
That's
no.
just.
Zach, it's just suspicious that right where the wounds were in the towers, that's where the planes hit. Can we all agree on that? That you're suspicious. of
I
this?
am suspicious.
I drew a picture for a reason.
I think I'm suspicious of you. I can't believe you drew a
Okay,
picture.
okay.
She's got
It's okay to be
plans.
suspicious.
Hey, can we put her under surveillance? Like, just record her
already
the rest
did.
of the time we're here.
Yeah, we'll record her the rest of the time we're here.
And go ahead and sign into the OnlyFans. It's the security. No, that was,
I thought you said go and like sign our email list. We'd love to get you part of this. Like, that's unrelated. Though.
totally unrelated. And then I wrote down right as soon as it happened, somebody was like, "My God,
My God.
what do we do?" That's what he said, and I was like, "Should we switch to electronic cars? Like,
But
should I cancel Disney Plus?" Like,
before we
Yeah.
switch over to your movie, I do need to say this that and I can't remember if he was talking to Ben Affleck was talking to Michael Bay or whoever it was. Like Ben Affleck did say, "Hey, listen, wouldn't it be easier to train astronauts to drill than take drillers and oil drillers and teach them to be astronauts?" And someone told him, "Fuck off," or
Yeah.
like, "Shut up." They're like, "No,
No.
don't bring it up again." And that was it. Like he's like, "All right, well, I guess we'll shoot this now."
that was a loophole in the story. They were like, "We need to add this one line in there on the second edit, just so that
in
we don't have
case.
anything loose there."
Yeah.
Okay, I hope we're not moving on because I have like 9 more
No,
pages
we're not.
of Armageddon.
We're not moving on.
notes, including more photos, more pictures.
No,
Let's-
no,
let's
no.
do
We're
some,
not. We're not
deep,
moving on.
Deep Impact. My question.
Yeah.
No, no, no. Let's stay on Armageddon. Let's do it this
Okay.
way. Let's go through Armageddon.
I think it's gonna be harder that way
Why?
because when we can't just jump back and forth on little points.
I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
I think you ever say something and realize you don't know why you said it at all. I said that and I went, I don't give a fuck. And then I'm like, well, maybe I'll just keep talking and maybe something will happen.
Maybe I'll double down on
And then
it,
what
on
I
this
what I
opinion that I
did
didn't
was
care
just
about.
what I did was just lose credibility because I confessed that I don't give a fuck.
That's right.
I don't care. So we want to stay on this because I got some things.
Let's stay on Armageddon.
When they're on the oil rig and like Ben Affleck fucks up because he's constantly like, trying to do his own.
Were you
thing.
shocked that Bruce Willis was shooting a gun
Yes.
at him on an oil rig, on
No.
his own oil rig?
Willy nilly. You're
No.
Yep, you got
William
the right
No,
Milliam.
he said I'll get off because it's temporary insanity, and I'm like, okay.
You just said it, so
I
you're
don't-
very cognitive of
No.
what you're doing.
No. He meant he would jizz because
Oh,
it's temporary. That's what he
okay.
meant by get off.
Also, I'd like to say he was firing a shotgun and there was no buckshot at all.
Right.
He said there were bullets.
No,
Just gonna-
they show him unload the bullets.
I know, but the way he's shooting it, he said bullet with a shotgun. And it's like buckshot,
shell.
so it would be like.
Scatter.
No,
Scatter.
if it's a slug. If it's a slug,
Maybe I'm
it
wrong,
just-
but I feel like
No, it's not maybe. You're fucking wrong.
No, here's the thing. Sarah's
Here's the
from
thing, this
Kentucky. She knows more about guns than we ever will.
No. See, what the problem is that you're not getting is that they on set they use blanks. I don't think they really gave Bruce
right?
Willis it, but I don't know.
I think you're wrong.
I think Bruce Willis sometimes comes with his own slugs.
yeah.
Yeah.
No matter where.
I
They
heard
like,
that
"It's in my
entire scene was
contract."
improvised.
But my favorite part is like there's a thing where Ben Affleck drills overnight and he shouldn't have. So oil, like they have to fight the catastrophe of the oil like letting loose.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I was like, who is the set designer or the costume designer? Because they literally, there's an explosion of oil. Everyone's like oil raining from the sky.
Yeah.
And they come out to like, they're like, I can't believe you did this. And they're like just peppered in oil.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like
No, there was a
someone
couple
just
that were
kinda
pretty
took a
well
paintbrush
covered.
and just flicked them with it a little bit.
Michael Clark Duncan was pretty well covered with the oil.
Yeah.
No, and then
He was oily.
They were until they
he was
had to do
going,
the
"Ha, ha,
narration scene,
ha."
and then they're like, "No, we washed up a little bit. Don't
Yeah.
worry."
Yeah, well, no,
it
because
comes right off.
because they were on that helicopter for 15 hours.
What they
or
did
whatever.
is they had some ducks and they wiped ducks all over them.
Yeah.
Threw them into the river.
Yeah.
Or ocean. I don't know where the hell this
No,
thing is.
no. They went by a river. It was the Ohio.
That's where they let them
Drilling
loose
for
that.
oil.
All the oil-ridden
In the
ducks.
river.
They're like, we're gonna get in trouble for this. We're just put them in the Ohio River.
Look, fun fact: the Ohio River
Is
has
polluted?
the highest
Concentration of oil ducks.
of oil ducts. Yes, that's a fact.
I believe it. I wrote down
I love ducks.
How
So
many-
cute and they honk. No, that's geese. Fuck.
how many people that own like an $8 million oil company
Yeah.
do you think actually live and work on the rig?
Nah, man, he runs his own rig.
Hey,
he
he's
he
a
sinks
man's
his money
man.
into
That's-
it. He's an
that's
entrepreneur.
Spoiler: he saves the planet.
Right? He's a maverick.
I guess. Okay.
He's
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not
He's
gonna say what I was
Sarah
gonna say.
Palin.
He's just
he
wily.
drills baby drills because
Okay.
he's a maverick.
Drill, baby, drill. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, we can talk about it, like how he's hitting golf balls on the Greenpeace boat.
Greenpeace,
Yeah,
yeah.
And
while
he literally
LaGrange
says, like, I
plays.
give you like $30,000 a year, and you're like, what does that have to do with anything? What the fuck are you talking about?
He's like,
What
leave
does
me
that
alone.
mean?
Yeah.
That's probably
But-
mandate.
So what I like about Bruce Willis's character is it has the complete
His hair.
well, the lack thereof. He has the complete arc. Because at first, with him and Ben Affleck, like his like adopted son kind of thing.
Sure.
At first, he's like, I don't like this guy, and then later when Ben Affleck's banging his
He's a
daughter,
screw-up.
he's like, I hate this guy. And then later when he finds out he has to work with him on the asteroid, he goes, I don't trust this guy. And then later on, when he redeems himself, he goes, I like this guy. And then quickly goes, I love this guy, son. And you're
my
like,
son.
whoa, like,
He-
okay.
He actually said when he went to go recruit him, there's not a job on the planet that I want to work
didn't
with
you
me
love that
on."
line? And, you're
And he's like, and Ben Affleck's like, oh, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Because he really wanted Bruce Willis to walk out and someone just kind of tap him on the shoulder like, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
It's in outer space.
I see
that was,
what you
that was
did
good
there.
placement, man. He didn't know he's going on now to
He doesn't get it yet, but that was a zinger.
I'm real proud of you. Oh, I also want to mention that just like a Mountain Dew ad, the beginning of the scene here, especially the New York scene.
Uh-huh.
Wow, there's a lot of people.
There's
a lot of
people.
famous
What's New
people.
York?
Yeah.
The New York scene.
Oh, Eddie, what's his name's there?
Eddie Griffin.
Yeah, Eddie Griffin
His
with
dog,
that
Little Richard.
dog. Right.
Yeah.
Let's see who else was in it. Long Duck Dong.
Oh, sure.
Getty Watanabe, who's in 16 Candles
Yeah.
and a bunch of stuff. Mark Cooper from Hanging with Mr. Cooper, the comedian.
That was wild.
Bobby
he was driving that cab.
Elvis,
Yeah.
who's Mark Boone Jr., that actor.
So let me
From
ask
Sons
you
of
this.
There were
Anarchy.
some stereotypical Asians in the back of his
Well, no,
car.
Mr.
That's
Cooper.
him. That's Getty.
Mr. Cooper was driving that cab, and
Yeah.
the woman in the back, I'm pretty sure, is also in Deep Impact.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
She's
What-
like works at the news station that like Taya
Oh,
Leone
yeah, I know-
works at.
yeah, I
I'm
know who
pretty
you're
sure
talking
that's
about.
the same woman.
Is it the lady from ER
Hey,
with the short
Sarah,
hair?
can we
I
fast
don't
check
know.
that?
No.
Yeah,
It's an Asian woman.
I was just kidding.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
really do it.
I can.
That makes me seem so much worse that I asked you to do.
I don't care.
No,
I
I'll
don't
do
care.
it. 'cause
I'm
you
all
can yell
about
at
the
me about
facts.
being
I
on
got
my
these two
phone.
hands right here.
I'm like, what? I didn't write down that fact
And
on
only
this.
one scratching my belly.
Whoa.
Oh,
Let's see
man.
who
I think
else.
it's the same person, but that might just make me look bad.
So real fast, while Zach's on his phone doing something real fast.
yeah.
Ben Affleck, so he gets kicked off the rig for making
put
the
a T on that?
for making the explosion. What's that?
You put a T at the end of that? You call him Affleck?
Is that not his name?
No, it's not. It's Affleck.
Oh man, I feel like an ass.
There you go.
Ass
You
fleck.
should.
Ass fleck.
Anyway, so he gets kicked off the rig, and then like 2 days go by where they're like, hey, Bruce Willis, you got to blow up an asteroid. He's like, all right. So he comes back to recruit his guys. It's been 2 days. I would say 4 days tops. And then he goes to recruit Ben Affleck, and he has an oil rig already, like a cheap oil rig.
Yeah, he has like a job already.
It says like his name on there, and you're like, dude,
AJ's
the
oil.
loan for that would have at least taken 90 days. How in the fuck did you
least.
already have an oil rig?
On an international oil rig.
I don't understand. Like, was that
OPEC
thing,
involved in this?
Was that thing just not running, and he was like, oh, I got kicked off, so he walked over and pressed the on oil button and was
Yeah,
like,
he
all right,
flipped
here
the
we go, I
switch.
guess.
Started it up.
It was his back.
So I did like that. The assembling the team montage. It was like such a like action movie. Like
yeah.
I
Come
gotta get my
Big
guys
Bear.
Yeah.
Riding the motorcycle on the sunset.
in that American flag vest because those colors don't run, brother.
Nope.
Man, I tell you what, I'm getting a little swollen up right now, you know?
Let me tell you, when he was running from the cops and he had that flag vest on, I was worried it was going to start shooting bullets at the cops.
Sometimes
You never know.
They're
They make
impulsive,
Yeah.
you know?
I
Impressively impulsive.
I enjoyed the things that they asked for.
Yeah.
Like the
their
bullets?
demands.
Oh.
No, like the demands.
They don't want to pay
for-
taxes
Yeah.
ever again.
Oh, yeah, but that's another point. So they say they don't want to pay taxes ever. And you're like, well, hang on. Why wouldn't you just ask for an absorbent amount of money versus like every time you're at like a quick stop, you're like, no, I don't have to pay the 7%.
Because do you know how annoying income
would-
taxes? They're like, doop, doop. They're shaking their hands of it. They never have
Oh,
to
no,
do that
I was thinking
paperwork.
just
Yeah,
tax,
or
like-
they
like
could just
sales
live in
tax.
Florida.
I was thinking sales
Yeah.
tax. Yeah, that's what they want to do.
So they asked
I mean,
for
they do.
56 parking tickets, citizenship
Yeah.
for 2 ladies. They wanted to
No
bring back,
questions.
yeah,
I think
bring
I think,
back 8 tracks.
I think that, yeah, right then and there you were like, maybe we shouldn't send them to space if this is what they're the wildest
Right.
fantasies in the world, and they're like, get rid of my parking ticket.
They wanted to know who killed Kennedy.
They're like, I'm going to need a Snickers. Like, wait,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Now, my favorite is Steve Buscemi because
my gosh.
his character is so outlandish, but because it's Steve Buscemi, like if you ever put me in a room and he was saying things like, I graduated from MIT when I was 22, I have 2 doctorates in geological blah. He's given all his accreditations, and you're
Right.
like, whatever, but also you're like, he's a really smooth talker.
He is.
I don't want to question him. Because later when he's like, how do you know that? He goes, because I'm a genius.
Yeah.
And that's literally the ending line, and I'm
Period.
like, we better just go with it, man.
Yeah.
We don't
He-
want to get him talking.
He also
That's
says,
how I win a lot of arguments.
He also said she never told me her age.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
that was
later,
weird.
Because
yeah.
he's a molester.
That was weird.
And then later on, when they tried to approach him, they also say he turns to the woman at the bar and says, "Oh, how old are you?" And
boy.
I mean, it's like a bit of
Yeah.
a.
And then
like,
later.
that's a funny
and then-
joke
and-
that he's like a predator or
It
something.
and then
didn't age
later
well.
at the strip
No.
club,
No.
later at the strip club, he's like,
But
we're
he didn't
sending
ask
these,
its age.
we're sending
Yeah.
these girls to college, which you're like, whatever. But there was no time at all to really consider what was happening because, bam, South Pacific. Oh my God,
Yeah.
we got asteroids. Like, it was a quick like right.
We got incoming!
They're like, hang on, we just referenced how Steve Buscemi is a sexual predator.
Don't think about it. Yeah.
Just like later,
Moving on.
when they're on the asteroid and he's riding the crotch rocket and he's shooting the gun, they're like, he's going crazy. Earthquake.
Yeah.
Like,
Look over there.
there's constantly
Asteroid quake.
there's constantly a hat on a hat of, you think this is crazy? Well, guess what? Like, this movie could be called, well, guess what? Like,
Well, guess what?
You-
Code Red, Mountain Dew.
They also,
You thought Mountain
there's just
Dew
so
was
many
crazy.
Because even after they drill down and they drop the bomb, they're like, oh, they're about to be free. Well, guess what? Bruce Willis drops the switch. Like, nothing.
not
can,
this time, buddy.
Hit the switch. Hit it.
They're
Hurry.
They're like, they got to refuel the shuttle on the Russian space station. Well, guess what? The CO2 freezes and it explodes.
Well, guess what? This cosmonaut's a nihilist.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, the second.
That's all we could think about.
Independence went down. It's disastrous. It's gone. Well, guess what? The Tumbler's got a machine gun. Like,
I want you to make
Yeah.
I want you to make your synopsis of this movie into a YouTube video.
It's your own
where
trailer.
It's just, well, guess what? I want
go.
this so bad.
I did.
Yeah. There's actually a couple more of them, but yeah, it's just like it's always just like, can we just take a breath for a second? Like, you just stop doing it.
Yeah, it's called Deep Impact.
Deep breath.
Yeah, if you want 5 plots, I guess.
In my house, we talked about.
Sorry, did you want some ointment for that sweet burn?
We talked about what we would ask for.
Oh, what would you ask for? That's good.
We didn't really know.
Fuck.
Like it's kind of. It just made me think about how ridiculous their requests
I'd ask
were.
to pay more taxes.
Excuse me, sir. I want you to take more.
You know what I'd ask for?
What?
Friends like you. I already have that, so I'd ask for something else.
Maybe the real. The real goal.
Maybe
is
the real
made
blowing
along
up
the
an
way.
asteroid was the friends we made
No,
along the
I
way.
mean,
That's it.
I don't know. I'd get under pressure because I wouldn't know what to say, and I'd be like, to go to the asteroid and blow it up is all I want. I'd be like, fuck. Like,
Yeah.
All right.
I want to be
Because
a
I'm already
hero.
gonna do that. No, I'd be like, I want a nuclear bomb.
When you say
And then see how they act.
now, when you say under pressure, it just shocks me that they didn't use that song.
They probably couldn't get the rights.
Because every single bit of music was like a needle drop. Everything was like,
Yeah. LaGrange plays
Everything.
as he hits
It
the
wa-
balls at the green piece. Is like,
I don't know. I don't think it had enough impact. Deep.
it's
it
not
wasn't deep enough. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
Yeah.
No.
It was a shallow
So
impact.
you guys don't know what you would ask for, huh? So you're just like me. You
I
guys are
told you
just
I would
like
ask to
me.
pay more in taxes.
Okay. Then after you said that, I'd be like, I want him to not pay taxes.
You know what I
And
would ask?
last thing I would do is undo whatever you did.
No, you know what I would ask? I would say, I'll do this mission, but what I need in return is for this asteroid to stay intact.
See this?
That's what I need.
That's
The old switcheroo.
This is the problem without, like, I gotta jump over to Deep Impact real fast because the part where they're in the thing and they like have the nuclear bomb like on a handle, like a
Oh my
briefcase for some
gosh,
reason,
yeah.
and they're floating with it. I'm like, there is no way if me and Zach were on a spaceship and I had a handle nuclear bomb, I wouldn't chase them around with it and float around and then get in a lot of trouble
No, we would definitely like hit each other in the crotch with it or something.
with the nuclear bomb.
It
Yeah.
would be happening.
Yeah, I think if you and I were on this mission, yeah, there would be some weird requests, but mainly on the mission.
Yeah, I would want for the asteroid to remain intact. Like, that's what I want.
We would never get sent off the planet because
I
I'd be
love
like,
that
I want him to
asteroid.
constantly be rubbing my shoulders during the mission, and then you'd be like, no, I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, well, that's what I want. And then we would bicker, and then they would find someone else to do the mission.
Yeah, by that point, they would have realized, like, how did these people get into our facility?
They don't even know how to drill.
They don't know Bruce Willis.
No, we supplied the slugs.
And we're like, we've seen Die Hard.
we supplied the slugs for him. We're his slugs guys, like his drug dealers. But
No, that's Billy Bob Thornton with the
BB.
slugs.
Definitely
BBT.
the-
Hey, Billy Bob Thornton was really good in this. Can we say that?
He was fine.
You give me
Yeah.
that look like I'm wrong. But
He's no
was fine.
Paxton.
He's no. Ooh.
well, yeah, but that's unrelated.
That goes without saying.
He's not
Sorry.
Southern at all. I got it.
Not Southern or trying to do it.
Yeah, he's not trying to fuck me with his eyes constantly.
Yeah, it's because you're not Thomas Cruise.
Ooh, I'm getting a little hot.
Woo! Calm it down. Can we talk about the
Yeah.
questionable timeline?
Yeah, I'd love to.
What do you mean, like the
18 days?
timer, the countdown thing?
No,
How
the-
they're like, we got 40 seconds, and then they
No.
clearly talk for 30 seconds. They're like, all right, 38 seconds now.
Not even that. Even on a wider scale. So the timeline was like eight months.
No,
Wait, no. 18 days.
18 days. Okay, so
That
my
was always
question
the
is,
timeline.
that's so stupid.
Right.
Like,
That's
so-
why they can't track the asteroids. They don't have time to think about
Oh
it.
my gosh.
That's
But,
why they
okay,
need the drillers.
That's my question though. They had time to get the plans
Yeah.
and for this patented drill,
They already had that, though, apparently.
They stole
For
it from
no
Mars.
reason.
but for why?
Yeah.
for
They said
Mars.
for that
Because they were gonna
reason?
blow
They said
up
for Mars.
Okay,
They
so
said
that might
that's
answer
why
my
they had the
question.
ship.
Yep.
They had the ship already because
And
they
the
were going to
team,
go to
right?
Mars. Yeah.
Okay,
and
that
they
answers it
they've
then.
been training for 8 months
Okay,
to use
that's the
this
8 months
drill
then I
And they
was
for
had
Mars.
the
That was
high
questionable.
definition ice cream scoop or whatever the hell he called
Yeah.
it.
Was
But
that
what they were
thought
going
for
to do is they were going to drill down into Mars and then send a bomb into it and blow it up and cause asteroids that attack the other planets to make sure we were the king planet.
Yeah, I
Okay.
heard that they were
America.
going to drill down and then like jerk off into the hole and like impregnate Mars,
saw
and
a
that's how they
hole-
were going to like colonize.
That's Armageddon
All
on.
right, so if you're on the asteroid, like when they lose the tumbler, I keep calling it tumbler. I can't remember what it's called.
The armadillo.
The armadillo.
Yeah.
When they're on
Is
it
it
and then it
penetrated?
blasts away and they're just on the asteroid and they're like, well, okay, I guess we're gonna die. Wouldn't you kind of want to have sex with everyone like for like one last time? You said the hole. I'm like, you could jerk off in the hole, but wouldn't you be like, hey, let's go
Wow.
back in the spaceship
No,
and fuck?
you couldn't like get your dick out because it would freeze.
No, I'm saying you go in the spaceship and fuck. But
Yes, but there's
you
no
gotta
women
make sure
in-
everyone's done in time so they can come back out to watch.
But there's
the
no
impact.
women in
The
Armageddon.
deep impact.
There was one woman there.
There was.
So what?
So I
That's not what I
don't
said.
want to have sex with Steve
Yeah,
Buscemi.
we didn't talk about.
Well,
yeah.
no,
or Michael
He's
Clark Duncan.
he's tied
or
up.
like I don't want to have sex with any of them.
He's
Any
tied
of
up.
them.
He's the sadist. He just has to watch.
He was the one person that would enjoy it.
Yeah,
That's why he
That,
doesn't
like
get
no
the
matter
problem.
what was going on.
That's
and
that's why he
couldn't.
doesn't get to.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a punishment.
He's a masochist.
You know what, Steve Buscemi? You know what, Rockhound, which is on your spacesuit for some reason, not your
Yeah.
name.
And
That's-
his medical
that's what,
form.
That's what he asked for. That's what
You
he
know
asked
what?
for.
I'm not gonna have sex with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
on this asteroid.
Okay, you're on an asteroid, and then the tumbler gets blown off, and
Armadillo.
then God intervenes and goes, all right, I'll stop the asteroid, and you guys will all go home, but you got to fuck someone of the crew on this asteroid
Okay,
in front of the other
okay.
ones. Who do you do?
I tell God,
Okay.
I'll fuck whoever you want,
Ooh, nice.
but you leave the asteroid intact. That's what I want.
Is Owen Wilson still alive at this point?
No, it doesn't matter if he's
No.
alive or not. Fuck him anyway.
Yeah,
Well, I
No,
mean,
because it's God. He could find him in space and bring him back to you as
Yeah,
corpse.
you can have sex with William Fichtner. It can be Will Patton. It can be Michael Clark Duncan. It can be anyone
Man, yeah, the whole
except
cast.
not Ben Affleck, because Liv Tyler will cry
oh,
Man, that scene,
and she doesn't want to miss a thing.
that scene.
she's a good crier.
I remember, like,
I really
being-
like Liv Tyler.
yeah, she's
I re-
beautiful.
I remember being younger, watching the animal cracker scene when he's like, and the National Geographic, like, and the predator comes to the ample mountains, like on her boobs. I remember being like, I'm uncomfortable as a kid, and watching it
It's
again,
a
I'm
little
like,
weird.
watching it again, I'm like, this is uncomfortable.
It is.
as an
Yeah.
adult because you can hear her dad singing in the background.
I almost brought you guys animal crackers. Like I really
What a
thought about it.
tease.
Sorry.
Why would you even bring it up?
How dare you?
And then
Please leave.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Um,
But is it a cookie or a cracker?
it's a cookie.
Cracker.
It's a cookie. It's for sure a cookie.
I mean, I said the wrong thing. I looked at you and I was like, what I looked at you and was like, she's a cracker.
She's like the palest person I've ever seen.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it is a cookie. I don't know why I
Cookie.
stared at you for a long time. Cracker.
Unrelated.
Yeah.
Well,
So I have a question also about the astronaut training.
big
Sure.
boom.
Were they on like the Jeff Bezos astronaut fast track?
No, it didn't look like a dick.
They had to be the X-71.
They also had that built. They were like, where
That was for Mars.
yeah, so they could blow it up and make the other
And turn it
planets
into an Earth
idiots.
baby.
So they said that they're going at 11 Gs. Like, don't astronauts have to train
So
for their
yes,
bodies
they
to be
did.
able to?
Yeah,
They
that's
did.
their
So-
posse.
Well,
11
but what's
Gs.
funny is originally they said they're going to go 11 Gs around
The slingshot.
the moon, and then when they're about to do it, Billy Bob Thornton says they're going to go 9 Gs for 11 minutes, and I was like,
We
what?
need the scriptwriter in here.
what?
J.J. Abrams. Somebody give him
Abrams.
some lashings.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, good. It's your movie that you're defending. It's good that you
But
don't
no, I
know
think
this.
that's great. I think it's great though.
Great.
I just do.
Period.
Was that your closing argument?
That's great.
I don't know. It's more of a feeling.
All right. It's
like a
these
vibe.
movies, you know.
It's a vibe.
So I want to talk a little
like I
bit
feel
about
like this could actually happen.
it did.
You know,
So
the towers, I know. That's what I'm
So
saying.
Sarah also sent us a very funny screenshot of a Google search where a suggested question was, "Is Armageddon a true story?"
Yeah.
Which
Which
we'll also
it starts-
include
it
in the
starts
post.
With the, it starts with the narrator narrating what happened to dinosaurs. So you got to give it some.
So it is true.
Yeah.
It's based on a true story. So I would like to get into how much more do you guys have on Armageddon?
I have a few.
Okay.
We could go through them.
Let's breeze through Sarah's.
Okay.
And what do you have?
No, I mean I get random stuff, but the first one is like I do like the piss poor writing because in case anyone
Did you
forgot
say
why
that because it was like the drill?
in case anyone forgot what they were doing on the Russian space station, the bear walks by and goes, okay, like holding the hose. He goes, okay, guys, let's connect these fuel lines. And you're like, yes. like they're like, what the hell are they doing there? Don't worry, Bear's got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For anyone who was doing hand stuff in the back of the theater.
My gosh.
Yeah. And it was the right time
Why'd you roll
for
your
it.
eyes and say that? Like, man, this movie, lots of hand
You really
stuff.
get me, Armageddon.
You're getting horned up for Armageddon.
Oh
They
my
did
God.
like when they were playing around with the tumblers on Earth. They did have 3 hoses shooting flames, and I'm like,
Yes.
what the hell are they? What's that? Like,
Don't
what were they
call them
doing?
tumblers. They're not that cool.
They're armadillo.
They're armadillos.
Why did the armadillo tails? Why were they on fire together?
Have you ever seen an armadillo in real life? They're on fire. That's just what they do.
The tails.
That's it.
They're
I'll
one
tell
of
you a
they're
tale
one
about
of
a
life's
flaming
great
armadillo.
mysteries. Man, Sarah has like a full notebook of notes. That's
I'm like
bonkers.
going through, but I feel like I found a lot of weird things.
All right, let's get into it.
So first off, Owen Wilson,
Yeah.
his character in
Why
this.
is he even there?
I don't know, but his duck face is very prominent. we were commenting on it. It was like peak Owen Wilson duck face, and it was very
Wow.
distracting.
He really seemed shoehorned in this movie.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
like he didn't serve any real purpose.
Yeah,
I think this is maybe one of the first bigger movies
for
that he
him.
did.
Yeah,
And then they
for
killed.
sure.
They kind of killed him off screen almost. You're like, oh, because they do go to his body, but you're like, oh, he's dead. Okay, he's dead now.
So that
Yeah, it
brings
was
up
a
my
bit.
point.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah.
He gets killed, right? Then I look at his name. His name in this movie is Oscar Choice.
Yeah. I don't
Like maybe
I don't see
nominated
Like
for an
he's
Oscar.
the Oscar
He's
choice?
I don't see the issue. I
He's
think,
a
They're like,
choice.
I think it was good placement. I think
Okay.
it was smart
they're like,
from
yeah,
his
let's give the
agent to
character
have
that
him casted. Yeah, I
Yep.
think it's
He's
good.
gonna have a really tragic death. You're gonna care about him, and he's gonna be the choice for the Oscar.
yeah.
off screen.
Yep. Another thing is the Bechdel test. Is that how you say it?
Oh,
About
this does not
films?
pass the Bechdel test in any way.
100% does not. Like, I was like, am I going to be that person that comes in and brings that up?
You,
Well,
you decided
it is
to.
something.
You didn't have to. You chose
It is something that we haven't touched on a lot in like any of these movies. But like,
yeah.
no, none of the movies we have done so far has passed the Bechdel test.
Deep Impact definitely does. Deep
Yeah.
Impact is great for that. But the reason why I bring it up for Armageddon is because it is so ridiculously failing. So,
Yeah.
so there's a million really famous guys in this. It's a huge ensemble cast. And how many females can you name in this?
One.
One.
I can name one.
Liv Tyler. So
I forgot her.
yeah, that's it. That's the only famous
Whoops.
person. Actually, Ellen Cleghorn is in it, but she's only in one scene from SNL. The
Oh,
nurse. But the other female actors in this.
But she's not even a big enough name to
No.
like remember.
No, I
She's
know
like
it.
she's like a bit
understanding what
player
you're
on
getting at.
SNL.
This was 1998. These were
Yeah.
different times.
100%.
You
But I
know?
only knew her because I'm a big
Like
SNL
females
fan.
weren't.
This movie came out
Females
2
weren't
months
like
after
strong
Deep
enough in
Impact.
'98 to be able to handle this
just
kind of
weren't.
pressure.
To that point yet.
Like they weren't of the Bruce Willis hair
my
quality.
gosh.
Well,
you
the
know?
thing about it is, like, women don't know how to drill for oil. Like, men
Clearly.
have penises and they have sex with women, and
So they know
it's
instinctively
like
they
drilling.
have drills. You know what I'm saying?
So the other
Phallic is what we're saying.
female parts in this are female astronaut. That's it.
Yeah.
Redhead. That was actually the name of it. Baby Mama.
How else would you know who it was if
Baby
they didn't
Mama.
describe
Baby
her,
Mama
her
was-
hair quality?
Yeah.
What's his name's
Chick.
You
Who-
mean
Chick's
April
lady.
O'Neil from Ninja Turtles?
No.
No, that's
Is that who that was?
The
That's who
Baby
it is.
Mama was?
Yeah.
Because she was in some. She was in like a
It's the
Hallmark
first- it's
movie.
the
I
first
feel
That's
like.
April
not a
O'Neil.
delivery man. That's your daddy.
Yeah, why would
Okay.
you do that to your kid?
I don't know.
That's the salesman. As soon as he's on
Horrible.
TV, now that's your dad.
Like,
And then
what
he
changed?
and then he runs out when they come back, and you're like, that kid doesn't know that dude. He's not going to go
No.
running to that dude. Like,
That
that's
made
not
me-
happening.
he's desperate for a father figure, and he figured out that was his dad because his dad gave him that spaceship. And then when he came back, he goes, "That's a spaceship. That's
Wow,
my dad."
That's it. So that brings me to the point: is that the Baby Mama?
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about her if she's like, oh, he's nobody, and then he goes and does this thing.
Oh, it
what
says
is the
she's
writer
trash.
saying about her, right?
That she's
Well,
trash.
if you didn't
that's what
notice
he's
the
going
sundress
for.
she was wearing in the first, like that, you would have known
yeah.
she was trash.
She was like, "Go on, get on out of here, get."
She never. The problem
Go on,
was
get.
the problem is that kid from birth had all these turtles in his life, and then they just disappeared on him in the sewers, and she
my
really took
gosh.
that personally, so she was latching to anything that came along.
Look, what I think is
when the gambler dad came along, she goes, "That's your dad now."
You know who the Oscar choice for this movie should have been is the person who cast that kid because he looked exactly like the dad.
It was good.
Yeah.
He
That was
looked
good.
exactly. I was like, that is his kid. It has to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the one other person that is a female was the stripper named Molly
Strippers.
Mounds.
Molly Mounds.
There was
That's it.
multiple
Those
strippers.
were,
And that's her
those
Christian
were the
name.
females all through there. So it's a stripper,
God be praised.
Sure.
a funny nurse,
Sure.
baby mama,
Sure.
female astronaut, and lead character.
So
through
even
the whole movie,
even
they
female
don't talk to each
astronaut,
other.
They're all defined
Can
by
I-
their
can I-
relationships to men,
Can I
Yeah.
rebuttal?
like entirely.
Yeah, of course. That's
Michael Bay. Like what?
oh yeah, exactly.
What do you
It was,
expect?
it was
Yeah.
fucking there. Like if you saw his name, like I don't know. Once again, I don't know what.
Yeah.
you're getting
Hey,
at.
to be fair, it was also produced by Jerry Bruckheimer.
Also there, yeah, and I like that scene. It was like totally Michael Bay, where it's like the midlife crisis scene where the guy's like in the fastback Mustang, and it does like the crane shot out past the oil rig, and I'm like, oh yep, that's Michael Bay right there.
Yep. I mean,
Pretty good.
and like how many like shots of them walking along the tarmac with like the heat warping it, like so
We
many
get it. It's
glory
hot.
shots.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, huh, talk about the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
wow.
He really did it.
He zinged him on that movie from 15 years ago.
He really
Back
got
then.
him. He got him good. There's some. I wrote there's some foreshadowing when they show the Apollo 1 plaque.
Oh, yeah.
I looked up Apollo 1, and that was a bad mission.
Bad
They had
mission.
3 people died, and then that's why they started naming the Apollo missions.
Also,
Because of them.
Bruce Willis tells Ben Affleck they don't want anyone out there hot dogging.
Yeah.
And then later on, if you notice that they instead of Tang, they had liquid hot dogs. So that was foreshadowing.
Liquid hot
no,
dogs? Did
here's
I
the
miss
thing.
that?
Here's the thing. You missed.
Well, it wasn't written on there, but I knew it was.
No, you missed what
had
he
a
said.
feeling. This
What-
is the feeling.
What
I
he
was
actually
talking
said
Oh,
was he
okay.
didn't want anyone out there hot donging, like he caught Ben Affleck
Oh.
doing earlier with his daughter.
Oh,
that's what he meant.
And then he bit a hot dog, so that's why
hot
I was
donging.
confused.
Yeah, no hot donging out there.
He did when before they left when they were getting to second base in that airplane hangar thing.
Right.
Bruce
That was
Willis
wild.
did watch them
He
for a long
watched it.
time, a while.
Extended
More-
period.
so-
So
than he
I don't
should
know
have
if
as
you
a
guys
father.
watched Armageddon with headphones or not.
No.
But like you hear Bruce Willis's pants unzip
I think-
in that moment.
You also hear that guy from Deep Impact eating pizza because he's watching it too. It's the same sound as Bruce Willis unloading his hog.
it's
Yeah.
not a good sound.
And then he screams "Yippee ki
Motherfucker.
that's it. Everyone.
Oh boy. All right, let's. I want to talk about the
Happy Yelp.
how did the like human story, how did the sacrifice, the Liv Tyler losing her father, almost losing her fiance or her father, like how did that like land for you?
Once again, besides the arc I talked about, I think that it was evolutionary, you know what I'm saying? Like
Nope,
you
I
really
don't.
got to get rid of the old specimen.
Hang
and
on,
bring
Sarah,
in the
can you
new
weigh in here? Do you know what
specimen.
he's saying?
Like what happens is that when you're old, you're not as young as a younger man. You know what I'm
All right,
saying?
I'm gonna mute you.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you really gotta get a better specimen, evolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Freedom.
Freedom. It's like youth is wasted on the young, man.
If you ever get concerned that you
Wow.
don't know what you're saying, just throw in a freedom.
you know what I mean?
Then people nod like, yeah, I do. I am free.
You feel me?
I get it. Or at least I want to
So what?
I have a question. Do you think that people like at NASA were watching this?
Nassau.
be. Nassau.
NASA. And as soon as they saw a guy named Billy Bob was in charge, they just like turned it off.
They're like, nope.
They're like, and goodbye.
I think
That's
they
it.
were watching. I think the guys at Nassau were watching it and they were like, that's not how you pronounce it.
They immediately started writing a strongly worded letter.
It's
It's not
Nassau.
pronounced NASA. It's pronounced NASA because in text you're like, wait, that doesn't.
Excuse
the
me,
fuck
sir.
are you doing?
It's not NASA. It's NASA. They wrote a strongly worded letter.
That's it.
Dear Mr. Bay,
Dear Mr. NASA.
I happened to see your latest offering, and I took umbrage. I happen to work at NASA, as you so callously referred to it.
I will say that Deep Impact said that they had astronauts, astronomers, as well as a former head of NASA on their actual
as well
team
as astrologists.
Yeah.
No, that was yeah.
And then one of them was
Armageddon.
in the show.
Armageddon had astrologists.
Astrologers.
They were predicting the asteroids that were coming. That's why they were like, "Oh shit!"
This meteor is a Capricorn.
That's why it was destructive.
They're like,
in the
Scorpio's
South
rising!
Oh, no.
Incoming!
Retrograde again.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to animate that for sure. Even if it's on my own time.
I saw a note here. It was just like you were saying, you think you got it now, but wait. He's just like MacGrubering the whole time.
Yeah.
I put on it like for 40 seconds, and then at the very end, he like clips the other wire. It's the red. No, it's the blue. And he just cuts it, like,
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah,
really,
William Fichtner was great.
yeah, he's good.
I liked
Good in
him.
that.
Why you got a gun in space?
Yeah, that was wild.
You're like, what the fuck? Why?
You're like, you just saw
why are-
Steve Buscemi with a minigun
You
that was
like,
on that
no,
armadillo.
no, exactly.
Like, what do you
Pumping
know?
it.
Well, no, that was actually after that part.
Which the
Oh,
drill,
was it?
the armadillo
However,
was
they're
named the judge.
literally clipping the wires, or they're about to clip the wires to a nuclear bomb, and he's like, "Why you got a gun in space?" Well, I thought we were just bombing this motherfucker. Like, what?
I didn't know you were going to personally come up here and cap this asteroid. I thought we
Right.
were just going to blow it up.
I
Right.
think they just let him improv, or maybe they were accidentally still recording, and they're like, "That's gold, man."
Like, let's do a
Because your
few
character
extra.
is really
no,
dumb.
no. Let me tell you
He
something
would
about
be
Michael
like,
Bay.
Wait,
Why you got a gun?
No, let me tell you something about
I'm
Michael
just the
Bay.
accountant on the oil rig.
That
man.
is on the
Why you
script.
got a gun?
That is for sure in the script.
Yeah.
1,000,000% that's in the script. I think they cut a longer like monologue about it.
Don't they say that on Con Air too? Did he do Con Air? I feel like he did. Or
No, that's Ving
Bruckheimer,
Rhames.
though. No. Like,
Michael Bay? I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I feel like
Con Air rules.
I actually love Con Air. That
It's
is
so
like
much fun.
another Steve Buscemi.
Yeah,
Amazing.
he's great.
I would like
Ensemble.
to see
So creepy.
And then this is gonna sound funny. I would like to see a Michael Bay Deep Impact. Like a
You
direct-
did.
It's
called
Armageddon.
That's
Armageddon.
what I'm gonna say, but no. Like I want him to get a
You've
hold
still
of.
probably got
I
the
want
rental.
him to get a
Go
hold
watch
of
it.
the footage of Deep Impact and just edit that.
Okay.
He just like cranks the saturation. One. He drops in like 8 Limp Bizkit songs.
No, somehow Morgan Freeman just has glasses on the entire time.
Sunglasses.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
skiing
saying. That's
glasses.
what I'm saying.
Like the ski sunglass goggles.
All the way around.
He looks like Power Man 5000.
I think we need to move on to Deep Impact.
This is what
I
it's
think
like
we
when
need
worlds
to-
collide.
Which
Look,
is
are
funny.
you ready to go? Because I'm ready to
no,
go.
it's when rocks collide.
So it's funny
So
because
this is what it's like when rocks collide. Oh, you gonna say something?
I'm trying to look up the tagline because the tagline for Deep Impact was actually "Heaven and Earth are about to collide." So that's
Sounds
even
hot.
more. So then I looked up
So that's
Armageddon.
what I'm saying. Like there was a real biblical aspect or a Christian undertone to this
Oh, I don't think
movie.
so.
Yeah, when they talk about the ark and the 2 animals, then he goes, I wish, and he was doing the announcement. He goes, I wish, no,
That's not
I
right.
believe in God, and I believe in yeah, I think there was.
I don't think so. I think in as much as like we live in like a
They
majority
literally
Christian
called it
nation.
the ark.
Well, yeah, because it's the idea of saving. Like, of course, like that's
So you
not
don't
that's
think
not
those are
far
Christian?
fetched. That's not a far
You're
reach.
denying that those are Christian. I said Christian undertone.
They're themes.
I don't think there
most
are
Americans
Christian
are
themes.
familiar with because
Right.
of the founding. Yeah.
Right, because we're
So,
a secular
yes.
nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that Chris?
There's quotes involved here.
Heavy air quotes. Okay, so
Why is this
scientists eating
PG-13?
pizza,
What did it do that
violence.
what
Scary
when the
scenes.
guy's eyes got a little toasty?
Oh, that was. Oh.
Oren.
Seriously, it's a movie. What the fuck are you guys awing about?
Oh.
He
was-
looked in the sun. Why did he do
Oh,
that?
he
Why did
couldn't get his
why
heat
did he
shield
get-
down.
why did
He couldn't get his visor
why
down.
did he close his fucking eyes.
We'll get to that because I got thoughts. I got opinions on that.
All right, I think the two of us
Yeah.
are a pair of loud jackasses, and I think we should let Sarah lead on this a little bit,
Hey,
so she can get a little more in because she has an entire novel written.
I don't have as much for Deep Impact.
These are my notes.
In my mind, Deep Impact was not. It didn't have as many ridiculous things to write down.
Yeah, it was boring. You're right.
Here's my closing argument,
Okay.
guys.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I also did some research on this, and this was actually really interesting because the origins of this movie started in the 70s.
Oh Jesus Christ.
It's
That's really interesting.
No, it's really cool. So there's a movie, When Worlds Collide, that was from 1951, and they
Directed by
Do
Power
it,
Man.
do it.
Yeah, see, exactly. And it stayed apparently.
Oh, that was a good segue.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It was in development hell. they
Oh, it was
said,
in turnaround?
for many years. Yeah. So then Spielberg had purchased the rights to a
like a Highway to
93
Hell with that
movie
one,
or a novel called The Hammer of God, which was to use, and he wanted to actually use that to direct. So he was slated to, he was as executive producer on Deep Impact.
Oh, wow.
But he was slated to direct it. But because they pushed it up because they wanted it to be released earlier to compete with Armageddon,
Oh, sure.
he was already committed to doing Amistad. I can't talk.
Oh, yeah.
Amistad. And so he didn't even get to be the director on this work that he had purchased that
Now-
he wanted to use.
I worry that if Spielberg had done it, it would have been a little more.
Armageddon-y?
No, not Armageddon. I think it would have been a little more Amblin. You know, it would have been a little
Okay.
more like. I don't know. I liked the way that it didn't have like a 100% happy ending. I liked that there was some darkness to it. You know.
Yeah.
In like there was some real like dramatic weight and some real payoff to some of the stuff, you know.
Yes.
I think it attempted to have dramatic weight.
Really, it didn't land
I think
for you.
all the characters seemed flat. Like it didn't,
I didn't think
really,
so.
I think they were more realistic.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying. That's why like it was
right.
boring.
Compared to Armageddon, when they're
as
like
an Armageddon
cartoons.
style movie.
Yeah.
Or
It's
ripoff,
not an
as
Armageddon
word.
style movie. It came
So-
out first.
Okay, but what I'm saying is like the word Armageddon, like
Yeah.
as an end of the world thing, is like, oh, okay, let's talk about the relationship of a woman and her dad right now.
I thought that
But-
was lovely.
I
Yeah,
liked it.
and
Just
it was very boring.
maybe
Wow.
just contrasting the Armageddon where it's,
And then at the
you're-
end when she's like, "Daddy,"
don't
you're
get me
like-
started.
disgusting.
Don't get me started. But I think I was, because I watched them back to back, I was
I
just
did
a
too.
little fatigued from
Well, so
Armageddon, like
so I did-
oversaturation.
I
and
did
just
the opposite. I did
okay.
Deep Impact first because I knew I was defending Deep Impact, so I wanted to get that first, so then I could take notes on Armageddon in like, oh, this is where it didn't match up or whatever, you know.
You know what was great that I think it harmed the movie for me was that they had Morgan Freeman as the president, because every time
yeah.
he was up there talking, you're just like, God, I wish he was the real president.
Oh my God.
Because
Yes,
every
I
time
said that.
every time he would say something, you just like the threat of the impact.
You're like,
the
yes.
threat, even though like they keep
He's
failing,
like, we will prevail.
They
and
go
you're
to
like,
blow it up and it
I
doesn't
believe
work,
him.
and then they send the missiles and it doesn't work, and all that stuff. You're just like, that's cool, man. Hey, I think he's got our back.
He's
You're
got
just-
something
he's
else.
doing what
Come
he
on.
can. Come on.
You're like, and even at
We
the end where
trust
he's
him.
like, "Hey guys, we tried. We're gonna die." It's like, "Don't worry, man. We understand.
You did your
you
best.
did everything you could, Morgan
we love
Freeman.
you. We
Like,
love you, Morgan.
But even after that, you're like, he's gonna be the president forever. After like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Oh, he
there's
better
no way
be.
he's not gonna be.
He's like a motivational speaker that's president, and he's just
Yeah,
kind.
not only
and-
like
So-
the world's wrecked, so like they're gonna allow it, but also you're like, we're gonna constantly vote for you, the best president.
yeah.
So when Taya Leone finds out and goes to the secretary and confronts him by his like boat, and then she leaves, and like the Secret Service like pulls her over.
kitchen.
They go
Yeah.
through the kitchen, and like the president's like, I assume it's like his chief of staff.
Yeah.
He's eating something, and he like makes a point, and then pops the whole thing in his mouth like,
Yeah,
like
like a
it's-
cartoon.
And he's wearing a bow tie. It's really funny, but then like there's no way, and I get like how they're setting it up, and it's like, oh, it's meant to be like this is someone powerful, but like Morgan Freeman walks in, he is the president.
Yeah.
She knows who he is.
Yeah.
He comes in and he goes, Tom Beck, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I know.
It's like, yes, I know who you are.
Very aware.
You're like one of the most famous people in the world.
I voted for you, actually.
Yeah. And don't say it, but it does seem like very Obama-ish. Like he just like that's what he would do.
Oh,
He'd
I
just walk
think
by
he
like, "Hi,
modeled.
I'm Barack. How
Yeah,
are you?" And you're
yeah.
like, "Oh, nice."
Well,
nice."
but I think he modeled. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Obama modeled himself after Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact.
I mean,
like his whole political career.
That and Jimmy Smits on The West Wing.
he's taking notes. Like
He's like,
feverishly.
kind of
Kinda.
casually
You know what Morgan
First of
Freeman
all.
kind of disappointed me though, is the last speech when they talk right before they're like, oh, it failed, we're gonna go underground or whatever.
Yeah.
He's wearing the polo, and you're like, dude, you couldn't have just tossed on a suit real fast. You
Oh, I
couldn't have,
liked it. I liked it that it was like, no, this is like, it's like part of like the fabric of society has broken down to the point where the president is not in a suit, and he's like, oh man,
That's where we are.
we're fucked. I'm so
This is
sorry.
it.
I'll see ya. I'm gonna
See-
go get in those caves in Missouri.
See,
It's the best version of me right now. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna now reveal how I watch
it's
the
like
movies.
he just played racquetball. That's what he looks like.
I'm gonna reveal how I watch the movies, and this was not intentional at all. It was just my schedule. I watched half of Armageddon, and then the next day half of Deep Impact, and then today I watched the rest of both. So
That's
like,
wild.
Wow.
That is
so
a
going
wild
back-
way to
so
do
I know,
this.
it wasn't intentional. It was an accident. So that being said, towards the end of Deep Impact, I'm like, why aren't there fast cuts of this shit? Like, I was so confused.
Yeah.
So I will say this: where Armageddon has like a leg up on Deep Impact is it's a fucking action movie. It's a complete action movie. Michael Bay knows how to direct action sequences.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that Deep Impact has that as well. You know, it's very like you can tell they're
Slow
reaching
building.
effects wise. Like they're like trying, but it's not there.
Here's the comparison to the simulators where the premise of both, we're going to get on the asteroid, drill down, and put a nuke in it. That's the same premise for both
Blow
movies.
it up.
But here's the difference. On Deep Impact, this is literally a line. We have to drill down 100 meters. And at one point he goes, oh, it's jammed. How deep are we? 75. We got to be at 100. I know. Where Armageddon, it's like we got to be at 800 feet. Where are we? 53. Fuck! Like that's the difference
He's
of
like,
intensity.
we gotta detonate, and he's like, no.
like they're like, quick, sabotage the president, and they do, and they cut the fucking power, and they're like,
But also-
fuck the president, he's not on this asteroid.
But also, if Morgan Freeman was president in
you
Armageddon,
wouldn't have done it. You would have listened to him.
Whole
they
different
would have
story.
blown it and
They
been
were
like,
like-
sir. They would have like saluted him as they
Everyone
blew
would have
up.
been like, do you need more people up on there so we can all blow up with it? Like,
Do you need more people to die in vain?
sir, what do you need of us?
So I think I really like that. I hadn't realized, because I hadn't seen either of these movies in such a long time, but I didn't realize just how much the plots like really parallel each other in like the story beats. And obviously, like, so Deep Impact focuses way more on the human impact of this story. It's, hey, this is gonna be here in 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're gonna freeze like everything. We're gonna do this, and like in watching that, I was like, oh, I remember when the pandemic started, and what I thought was, why aren't they doing the Deep Impact thing? Why aren't they freezing the economy to sustain it? And it was like, oh no, it's because they don't believe this is a real thing, so they want to use like the fucking ghoulish pieces of shit Republicans want to use the economy as a cudgel to get their way when they want to
Price
deny
gouging
science. And
and-
it's insane. And it's like, oh, this is like not that far in the past that someone thought that this was a reasonable thing that an American president would do. And now it's like, oh, no way he would do that. He's going to make money off of this. And he's going to like, it was just such a stark contrast to like what actually happened in a global emergency. Like, you know.
Now that we've lived through one.
Right.
Like, it's pretty crazy to say that, but yeah.
Well, and as far as I'm concerned, we haven't. It's still
Oh, yeah,
going,
definitely.
and we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
man.
true.
So and this is gonna switch up just a little bit. And I'm
Good.
sorry. When Red Foreman shows up, because I forget his name.
Kirkwood Smith.
Yeah.
Thank you. When he shows up, and he's got a decent sized melon, I'll just say it. Like he's
Yeah.
always the bad guy. And when he showed up with that rock of a head, I kind of thought he might be a mole for the asteroid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, he's always a bad guy. And when he showed up and I saw him, I'm like, something's up. And I'm like, he does kind of look like an asteroid. And I'm like, I'm going to keep an eye on him.
You know what? He is the smaller asteroid that split off.
Oh gosh, and he plays the Billy Bob character. So we at
he's
my
so much
house,
better.
Yeah, but we were calling him Billy Bob Foreman.
Outrageous.
He's so much better.
He just goes to that barbecue.
Yeah.
He
He's
can't
so
be
much better.
trusted. And he doesn't have leg braces.
No, he gets them. Exactly.
He's got no sympathy.
No, he gets them the launch codes. Robert Duvall
barely.
was great.
After he's
Robert
confused.
Duvall was
Because what's the line? We got time to do and we got time to learn. Which one do you want?
Yeah, he said we can do it or we can teach it.
Yeah.
That was great. I loved it.
So when he's on the shuttle, that's the video that I took. I don't know if you remember this part because it's a really tiny part, but it's just him. And he's sitting there with what's his face with the eyes all covered.
And he reads him Moby Dick.
No, it's right before then. Okay. And he's got like the paper and he draws the trajectory.
Yeah. Oh, when he scribbles the thing? Yes. And I was like, is that an explosion?
I was like, pinpoint accuracy right there. He draws it and he just swoops it around and then it's just like a bunch of squiggles all over.
I saw that too. At first, I'm like, oh, an idea was bad. He's like, this isn't going to work. But he's like, no, he's like, oh, yeah, boom.
He's like, this is what success looks like. I thought Robert Duvall was great.
He was great, yeah.
Yeah, but there was that odd part in the bar when, like, he just, I guess, felt like they weren't appreciating him because all the younger guys.
He's like, you don't want me here. And they're like, we're better than you. And he's like, but I've been on the moon.
And they're cocky, but when Fish comes over, because Nick's name's Fish. Yeah. When Fish comes over and is like, I get it, you guys don't like me, they seem thrown off because it was weird that he just came over, started going, you don't appreciate me.
So that was after the barbecue. They're all at the barbecue together. I understand that. Why do they all then go to the same bar, including him, who's not actually with them?
Yeah.
Right.
But then he comes over and he's like, you know, if I told my name to your dads, they respected me. And they're like, yeah, but we're young. And he's like, well, you need me. And then that's the end of the scene. You're like, what the fuck was that?
Weird.
What was happening?
It felt a little strange. That scene was a little off. I'll give you that.
And then the part where
Mountain Dew.
The part where he's flying the spaceship and he goes, you know, when back in the day when people were running the river, it would change so much that people would only know 5 miles of it or whatever. He goes, so I'm in charge now. And then it cuts and you're like, wait, what? What the fuck is this?
I totally bought into that.
Yeah,
what he's saying is
training someone.
No, what he's saying is like, you can only know your specific thing, and he's saying, this is my section of the river. This is what I know.
He's very egotistical.
And so I'm like, I'm the expert here. I can't tell you the whole river. I can't run this whole mission on my own. But this is my part.
Here's the thing.
And I'm gonna do it.
Here's the thing. I understood it. I got it. Like it was.
Did you though? I'm not sure if you get it now.
Okay.
So he's the riverboat captain.
No, I got it. He's got the little hat. Boop, boop. I've seen the hats. Don't tell me I haven't.
He's dropping racial slurs
and know what
constantly
the thing is?
to that runaway boy.
That's engineers on a steam train. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Steam train?
What are they called?
What are we on, source code?
What are they called? Are they not called steam trains?
So nothing is called a steam train.
What are steam trains called then?
I mean, it's a steam engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
That propels the train.
So just train with a toot toot. What do you call them?
I call it a big toot toot. What do you call it?
Big toot toot.
Hang on.
That's what I'm calling it from now on.
Hang on. Back up. Do they not wear hats on the boats?
What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I said I knew about the hats on the boats, and I was like, that's a toot-toot train. But what hat am I thinking of? Is it a train?
Like a captain
hat?
Like
a conductor's hat?
You look very worried. I just want to know.
How did this turn into hats?
Sarah, do you think we should start our own show?
I just want to know what I'm talking about right now. Which one wears the hat?
Nobody knows what you're talking about. It's an engineer on a train.
Okay, thank God.
That big hat, the tall hat, like pillow tick.
No, that's a chef.
Nope.
I don't know who I'm talking about.
That's a toque.
Wait, they wear overalls, though. What do you wear on a boat? On a riverboat?
Nothing at all.
Nice.
Whatever you want.
No, that's a yacht. Woo! Okay.
Anywho, let's get back on track.
So you did Deep Impact, huh?
Yeah. I did.
So where are we in that? The impact part?
We're all over, you know? So what I really liked, okay, so...
The Elijah Wood storyline, what do you think about that?
I loved it. I think it's fantastic. So I think that because of the compressed timeline...
Really?
Yeah, because of the compressed timeline of Armageddon.
They get all married
and
in
the fact that
they're like actually does that. Wink.
I think people would be doing that in that situation.
Yeah, it's the end of the world.
You mean during a pandemic getting married in the woods? Wink.
Hey.
Oh boy.
Hey. No, but I think people would do that. I think it was very realistic except for a few things.
The priest? Like how he wasn't molesting someone.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they can't be molesting someone all day. They're only human.
Let's start with Elijah Wood.
They were kids, though. Maybe that was the after party.
Not yet.
When they're at the school.
Yeah. Oh, God.
You know what I'm going to say.
You're going to get a lot of sex.
So that was so weird to me.
That guy who did the bow?
Yes.
You know what's messed up? It made me think
If he had just said
if
that, it
Zach
would have been
was more-
okay.
If Zach was more outgoing in high school, I could imagine him being
Geez,
that.
no.
So
Never.
the actual quote, a kid stands up. It's like a Q&A with
Jeff?
Elijah Wood, and he helped discover that this was happening and everything. He's explaining it.
Yeah, he's one of the discoverers of the
So
asteroid.
is the guy's name Jeff? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was like Jeff or something.
He calls him and he's like, "Oh, what's your question?" His actual quote, "Famous people always get sex, Mr. Perry. That's the main reason it's good to be famous."
And then
then
gets
the
an
whole
applause.
Yeah, he says,
uproarious.
you're going to get a lot of sex.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh.
And then he does that weird fake bowling thing.
Yeah.
No, but the thing
They
about
show
it is
Lily
like,
Sobieski and she's
The
like,
hand behind the back
"That's
and then
me.
the front.
I'm gonna
and
get
then-
it.
now what I thought was weird about
I'm
it,
gonna
like,
get the
I'm
sex.
gonna get it."
like I definitely get like, okay, you stand
The
up, you
sex.
say, oh, you're going to get sex. Okay. But then he sits there for a beat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Famous people, and then he does that the next line, which is like, that's the part that's
It's
like,
so extra.
gotta go.
He's
Gotta go.
doing the Jerry Seinfeld thing. He's staying in the moment to keep getting the laughs. It's
Now,
very
why
extra.
did that
Sitting
teacher?
in
He
it.
would have
He's
a great
sitting in it.
career if he didn't die later in the movie.
Why
He'd
didn't that
have a little-
teacher-
Too low ground. He needed to be a little
a little
higher
more
up.
famous. He needed to get laid a little more. But like, why didn't the teacher just shut him down after the first part? Why did he let that go on?
Zach, you wouldn't know about this. It's public school.
It's the end of the
it wasn't your
world.
fancy private school.
We went to the same
that we
school,
both
number
went
one,
to.
and I
That teacher was like, "It's the end of the world. This is no longer my job to correct these
he
perverted
didn't know it was the
thoughts."
end of the world yet. He thought it was going to be fine. He thought they had
Oh,
2 more
I guess
years.
that's
He
true.
thought the super mission was going to go okay, and that only one guy was going to die, and then the other one's going to get blind.
Yeah, he thought that Owen Wilson would get an Oscar.
Oscar choice.
I will say, so the guy that got Happy from the Marvel movies, like,
Yeah.
Oh, Jon Favreau.
so when he was blown by the geyser into outer space and
Yeah.
they have to leave him out there,
And the Russian
was
wanted to
so
go for
sad.
him.
Oh my
How
God.
do you think? Because you have to stop for a second, think about it. Like floating in space by yourself, knowing that's how you're gonna die. What do you think your natural response would be to that? I'm almost positive I would literally be in so much shock. I would shut down and then just die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
think
about
that
his
for sure.
family. Like they just said he's been lost.
Yeah.
Period.
Not we had to leave him
Not that he's
floating
dead.
out there.
They
He's
didn't say
probably
that he was
starving
still
right
No,
now.
alive.
he's lost in space. Technically speaking, he's still alive now.
I think, I mean, in a Christian sense, yeah. But I think
So
if,
many air
if
quotes.
only they would have had a single Glock like in Armageddon, they could have like aimed it. And,
What
like,
are you doing with the gun in space?
That's why he's like, "What are you doing with a gun? Is it in case one of us floats away and we have to shoot him?" But
You'd
then,
think they just have a
then
leash
because
or
of the-
something.
I don't think that
because of
bullet
the
will
lack of
fire
gravity.
in the void of space.
okay, here's a situation, Zach.
Oh, jeez.
If you shoot a gun in space, now you're not going to see the flame. We know that already from your other science that you told me. Does the bullet go just as fast in outer space because there's no gravity, or what does it do?
Yeah,
It
the
goes faster. It
velocity
never stops. But
Oh, really?
because there's no
Wow.
atmosphere, there's no drag on it.
to hold it.
Dragon.
So here's the thing.
because it's a dragon.
If I shoot a bullet in outer space,
But it
it
doesn't
kills
have
you
fire
just
breath.
as well as it would if I shot it down
dragon-
here.
Okay,
A
I was
dragon in
curious.
space does not have fire breath. You know why, Zach?
No
There's
fire.
no combustion.
I'm gonna
in
mute you.
space.
I can't handle this.
No oxygen. Sorry.
That's right,
atmosphere.
Sarah.
No oxygen.
Speaking of space,
Speaking of,
this has a really, really great
I need
cameo.
space.
I don't know.
from like a real alien.
Well, a Star Trek cameo.
Okay.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Tasha Yar from the Next Generation, played by Denise Crosby, who's actually Bing Crosby's granddaughter.
Huh.
Tasha Yar, she dies in, spoiler alert, she dies really early.
Oh, God.
But she's a very big part because she was the security officer in the first couple seasons before Worf was, and it was kind of a big deal.
Ooh.
It was a big deal that she left, that she
like
got killed
Worf.
off. And she plays Lily Sobieski's mother in this, the pregnant woman.
Yes.
And she was really great in it.
She was really good in it. Yeah.
I don't remember when I watched this. I don't remember that it was her.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really that big into Star Trek then.
I liked when Elijah Wood gets the call that he's going to the Ark. that Lily Sobieski's dad's like, I'm gonna go home. Maybe they're calling us, and it's like the saddest moment because you're like, they're not fucking calling you.
You're like, why would you?
Why would they be calling you?
If your neighbor won the lottery, why would you think that you had to check your numbers?
No. If your neighbor discovered the asteroid that's going to destroy the society, like, of course he's going.
Right.
Why would you assume maybe I'm gonna go too?
I don't think
like
he
what
has
kind
I don't
of
think
goober?
he has to go.
No, of course he's gonna go.
That comes up to another point. Like, don't you think they would just pretend to be doing the lottery and really just saving everyone they think was worthy?
No, because they did that already. There's 1 million people.
No, I know
200,000 are the people
I'm saying
that are worthy.
No, I'm saying the whole million, they're like, listen, fuck all these idiots.
If it was the president from Armageddon, that's what they would be doing. But Morgan Freeman doesn't play that way. Right. He's Tom Beck.
I trust him.
I trust him.
Yeah.
He wore that rugby sweater or whatever when he told the world they were going to die.
I don't believe that any other president wouldn't practice eugenics at that point.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, but Freeman obviously didn't.
I know.
He's a good man.
He's a good guy.
we trust him. I'm voting for him.
Yeah.
Can we convince
Tom
him?
Beck 2024.
Nice.
Get it on the ballot. Get Washington on the horn.
Get Washington on the
Tom
horn.
Beck.
That's how that works, isn't it?
Right there.
Let me tell you something. I think we just need Sarah on the show from now on.
You be your facts girl. Just the facts.
Just the facts, man.
She's going to do shit? I do. She's going to do a segment. That's what we're going to do. Oh, man. What a great movie.
It'll be Star Trek facts and random facts. They did mention, I will say, in Armageddon, they mentioned both Star Wars and Star Trek references.
They did, yeah.
And
the
I
Star
thought that
Wars
was
reference
interesting.
was dumb.
It was kind of dumb. I think
really
mainly
forced.
because Owen Wilson was involved in it.
Yeah.
But
wow.
But the only thing that they said about Star Trek was beam me up. So, I mean, that was kind of...
Oh, yeah. I forgot that. Yeah. I didn't even pick up on that.
I feel like how he delivered the line, like I'd be Chewie. Have you ever seen Star Wars? It was almost like they said it because they wouldn't. They didn't think people would know who Han and Chewie were unless he said Star Wars.
Yeah,
which I'm like, no, we got it.
That's another thing that I saw about Armageddon is some of like the lazy writing where it was like they were in front of a building and then Bruce Willis would be like, "Now, can you tell me why we're in front of the NASA space building right here?" And then they like zoom out. And
now,
it's like,
tell me why we're here at NASA.
Now tell me why are we on the Russian space station?
Yeah.
Well, I'm moving these hoses now to refuel.
He's like, I'm a nihilist.
It's like a meanwhile back at the ranch thing. Like that's how I felt that it was just like. And another thing about Armageddon,
it's very clunky.
Yeah, they were trying to tell multiple stories, but I feel like they didn't know how to tell them separate, so they just told them together.
Which didn't work. Well, and that's the thing.
It was confusing.
That's the thing about,
asteroid.
and I think I would compare Deep Impact to another space disaster movie that does that really well, and that's Independence Day. I think Independence Day, like Deep Impact, I think they both do that really well, where they tell these separate, interesting stories, and like we get so much more of what's happening on Earth, and there's so much more human drama, and it's the kid who discovered it. We see that story with Elijah Wood. We see the reporter who uncovers it with Téa Leoni and how she like gets bumped up at her job and like has some career success and kind of like feels like she's betrayed this woman who she worked for, who was like her mentor, I guess.
Becky?
Right.
Beth, maybe.
Beth, okay.
Beth, yeah.
But she was, and like, there's a lot of really good like human drama and the stuff with like her and her dad and her and her mom, and then like, I think there's so much good like family dynamic in the movie, and I think like the way that they tell these separate stories that are all part of the larger story, you know, and everyone intersects kind of with like, oh, the Morgan Freeman of it all, and like the astronauts, and like, you know, that we're trying to do this thing to like save the world, but we don't know if it's gonna work, and we don't know like, but we have this backup plan. Whereas like Armageddon's like, we're going to blow the fucker up.
Yeah, you know what you bought.
Slam-a-doo on the way down,
you know what
brother.
You bought. Elijah Wood's,
Guy Fieri of movies.
Elijah Wood's Lego hair really threw it off for me. Like, at first I saw him, I'm like,
he always has Lego hair. Haven't you seen Sin City?
Is that where they got that idea from? Like,
I don't know what it was, but I think something was going on with his teeth, too, where they look like extra perfect. And I don't ever remember him having extra perfect teeth.
He was young. It just hit he just had his braces taken off.
Yeah,
Could
he
that
just
be?
got his fresh
I don't know,
dentures.
That's what
because
we're
I mean,
saying.
like when he's Frodo later. I mean, I remember his teeth and them not be. I'm a weird teeth person.
Well,
like,
so for
Roast chicken.
for
boil them, mash them, stick them in the stew.
for Lord of the Rings, they actually like made his teeth bigger and
Potatoes.
put hair on them.
Okay.
Zing.
Sounds me putting hair on my teeth.
What are you doing?
know.
That's like
She's a hobbit now.
That
Like
was
a
a-
windshield wiper thing.
That was
for
like a
teeth.
weird texture thing. Like as soon as I thought about hair on teeth, I wanted to like wipe my teeth. Like
So- I did
Turn
like
on your tooth wipers.
I did like when they were gonna blow up the asteroid. They had a sunrise clock. They had to beat the sun for it rose, and like it was raised to like 300 degrees. Or whatever
Oh,
it was.
okay.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a sunrise clock, and I was sitting there thinking like that's a good way to wake up in terror. And I was trying to think about how to like make a sunrise clock, and I was like, I feel like I would just end up burning a house down. Like,
I mean, all you do
there's
is you
your
get
clock.
an Amazon Echo with like hooked up to like a smart light bulb and like a
like a
space
rotisserie
heater.
bulb.
No, and
Yeah.
like a space heater where
You
it's
turn
like,
into
oh,
a Kenny Rogers roaster on accident. You're like,
That's what I was saying. Like I was thinking about ways to like introduce heat, and I'm like, I think I would just burn the house down. Like I can't figure this out.
it reminds me of that Twilight Zone episode where like the world
pig
keeps,
faces.
No, where they.
That's
I
the
don't
only
know.
one I know
That's
either.
another big thing that I'm into. Is like Twilight
You're
Zone.
into
and-
pig
yeah.
faces?
Yeah.
That's another big
There's
thing
an
I'm into.
episode where
Wild.
it's these two women, and the world just keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and the Earth is moving closer to the sun, and they like there's
You're sure
no-
that wasn't a documentary about our current life?
right. If you watch a lot of those episodes now, I
they're
mean
so
they're
relevant.
very
Such a-
relevant.
But they
Yeah.
were all,
Scary.
like social commentary in like such a great
100%.
way.
I recently read Rod Serling's like a book about him and how he had like ties in Cincinnati and stuff, and that's how he did it. He basically was putting social issues into sci-fi shows to push
That's how you
those
could
issues.
sneak 'em in.
Right, and that's the only way people could talk about them a little bit more broadly than
Yeah.
just like the exact.
Well, and I think that's why we have like people like us today is because of stuff like that, and
Yeah.
like that combined with like the like socialist agenda of like Sesame Street, which is like a real thing. When you watch it, it's like
Or Star Trek.
it's great. Yes, exactly. It's
Yeah.
this like utopian like
Roddenberry, like
it's amazing.
yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh boy.
Say what you-
All right.
Sorry.
Keep talking
I've
about your
had-
subliminal messaging.
I've had
I
a-
want to hear more about Zach's thoughts.
I've had a lot of fun talking about these two movies. Do you wanna? Do you have some stuff you want to wrap up on Deep Impact before we
Yeah,
move
that's
to
it.
final
Just
thoughts?
the emotional aspect of it. This was an emotional one. I feel
It really was. Like,
I did cry a little bit.
what?
I'm not too big of a movie crier, but sometimes if there's like dogs or children involved,
right.
which there were here,
I mean, that one dog in the back of the like when Elijah was looking for his lady, and there's that one
no.
that one dog, and you're like, what's it doing in the trunk?
No, the part where like Elijah Wood said no hot dog, and then he took a bite out of a dog and a hot dog bun.
Yeah.
It
That
was
dog
weird.
was hot. That was a hot dog.
It was
No
wearing a
hot dog.
brassiere.
Do you see that bikini on that?
See that
hot
sexy dog? I'm gonna eat it.
So the emotional parts were, so the mom. Do you think that she passed away, or
She
do you
killed
think
herself.
that
Killed
was
herself.
self-inflicted?
She's
She
Yeah,
killed
that's
herself
She
for
was.
sure.
She had resigned herself to.
She
this
knew
is a
she was
happy
gonna
life.
die.
Okay.
She didn't have anyone anymore because the dad had the younger wife.
Right.
Who left him?
And her
so-
daughter was going to move on.
Yeah.
She knew that
She knew the
she
daughter was
fine
going
with
to be
all that at
alive,
that
and she
point.
couldn't go with her. She knew she couldn't be selected for the lottery because she was over 50. All that
But
stuff.
she said she was happy and
Yeah,
quit
she put on
smoking,
a pretty dress.
and in the
Yeah.
nick of time to
She
kill
did
herself.
her makeup.
did her makeup, was
was
looking at the
touching.
precious photos, and just had that moment. Like it
Yeah.
was nice. You kind of knew something was happening there.
So for me, the two most like emotional moments were Lily Sobieski not getting on the bus to go to
Oh.
the Ark,
Yeah.
and like the parents like saying, no, you have to go, and then she wouldn't go, and like
Mm-hmm.
leaving without her, and like he runs to the back of the bus and she's running after it, and you're like,
It's rough.
ooh, that's a tough one. But then
And they had no time to prepare because
right,
they thought
they were going. And then the other one for me was Taya Leone taking her friend's daughter out of her hands and taking it up to the roof, because it was this like beautiful moment of like, you're a parent and you know that you cannot save your child. And that's like the biggest thing that matters to you is like, I have this human that I am like tasked with protecting, and that I know we are going to die. I have failed them, and I can't like do anything about it.
She took her to the childcare area.
Yep.
She said, this is where she's happy.
So-
I want her to be happy when this happens.
Yep.
Didn't the other two parents have a baby in the back seat? Why were they not holding the baby when the wave was about to hit? They were holding each other. I was like, that's fucked up.
Well, when they went to go pick up, when Elijah Wood came to pick up Lily Sobieski, he picked her up. I don't know how she saw him in the first place. He drives by with the helmet on, and she's like, there
Because
he
of the
is.
bike.
Oh, I guess so. But
It's her dad's bike.
okay, that makes more sense. So then he goes there. Then they give her the baby.
Yeah.
And this is another last minute decision.
So
and
they
she's-
should have sent her with the baby.
Well,
Like,
okay, at this
on the
point,
bus.
if they knew that this was happening then, if the parents had just stayed with them, they would have survived. If they could have kept up and got
But
the
they couldn't
higher
have.
ground.
They couldn't have because they were going a lot faster on that bike to
Oh, the
weave
bike.
through everything. It was the bike that saved
See,
them.
I have holes in my head,
And then they
too.
got to a point where they couldn't use the bike anymore for whatever reason, and they
true.
make it. But like, man, that was awful.
Yeah.
To think that like, like they're losing their parents and all that. And it was like, I felt like watching Armageddon, like the emotional weight wasn't there with like the,
Yeah.
Liv Tyler losing her dad was the only thing you had when like,
And it was in a cheesy way. Like at the
It
very
felt
last
unearned.
minute when he's like, I'm the guy that's going to save the world.
yeah, which
It was
like,
always
You got to
that.
go watch
He
my
was.
daughter.
He got that rough group of men together and held them together. He was always the backbone.
Rough
Oh,
neck.
totally
Of course
the
he was the
backbone.
one. Then
There
there was
was
the
no other
trickery at the
choice.
end
Right.
where he
We knew it.
sacrificed himself instead
Yeah.
of Ben Affleck because of evolution.
Yeah.
Like it just makes sense.
Yeah.
So do
You
you want
guys are jerking off over Deep Impact like
Well,
it's such a passionate movie.
Okay,
Like,
so
I
the,
don't know
the
what it
other
was, and it
ones was
failed.
when the
It
astronaut
failed and fell flat.
just barely got to hear the guy that.
to hear his son?
Oh my gosh. That was too
that
much.
was nice,
I'm
but
crying
like,
on
If
the
he's
that
couch.
blind, why would he touch the screen or know how
He
to
could
touch
hear
it?
him, and
Why would he touch the screen to block
I don't
himself?
know.
Who knows? Because
if
you
you're
can't see
blind-
it anyway, and the camera is not inside the screen.
Who's to say
He's
what
not
you're
blind.
Why
going
was
to
he
do in a
touching? He can't
situation like
feel his
that?
Kid.
Doesn't matter.
That's
And
as
all-
close
all-
as he could be
his
to that
kid
kid
can't
ever.
see him anymore because his hand's in front
His
of him.
hand is not
Oh
in front
my
of the
gosh.
camera.
What
It's
a-
on the screen.
What a dumbass.
I was crying and I said, he didn't even get to see his own kid. And I was like, oh, it was bad. So the other emotional moment was the last one on the beach.
See that one, like it was, and it was a nice it was a nice emotional resolution for Téa Leoni's character that she went to like be with her
Yes.
dad on the beach where they had that happy moment when she was a kid and all that, like
Yeah.
from the photo, and like it was like she knew she was gonna die, so she wanted to go and be with her dad, who was left alone by his like much younger wife.
Yeah. So they're having like their really nice moment, and she like says to him, "Oh, I stole like $32 from your wallet when I was 15."
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
His reply was, "When you were a baby, I once dropped you on your head."
Yeah, and I was like, those aren't equal.
No, I'm sorry about that.
Like those
No,
aren't
no.
equal.
Here's the thing: the only reason he was there is because his wife left him. Like that's like
right.
there's no redemption
Right.
there.
And that's pretty like,
Yeah.
where am I on your list? That if it's after
and
this,
also
this,
she was
and
kind of a
this.
child, so like he got married to a younger woman. So
Yeah.
what?
So
Right,
the moment-
exactly. Like I don't
Grow-
know
grow
what
the
his
fuck up.
relationship was like with her mother. Like,
Right.
I don't know. She didn't seem super pleasant when they were at lunch together, and she was counting down. Well,
Even
they're
when
married
she was
now.
when she was a drunk, and
I think
just
they were
seemed like
trying to be
unpleasant.
bitter together.
I get it,
I
but
think
it was
that
like
they were like
come on.
commiserating rather than being like nasty people that they are in their
Maybe.
lives, you know?
Maybe.
That's what I got. But in this moment, super emotional, and they're having this moment, and he puts his hand on her neck, and it took me completely out of the moment because there's a huge continuity error.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
So when it's behind her, he has his hands down, and they keep going back and forth.
Oh,
and then when it's
that's annoying.
behind him, his hand is on her neck, and it just took me completely out of the moment. Like, oh, filmmaking, period.
Oh, it's not real.
I was just crying over this stupid
We didn't
shit.
get hit by an asteroid.
I'm just gonna get water all over me.
So when the waves coming at him, like it actually like the waves on the beach like regress for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah,
Which
it's
happens in a
scary.
tsunami.
And it shows that big fault, that big drop off section in the ocean, like like what 20 feet out, all of a
So
sudden it drops.
scary.
And I'm sitting there going, well, hang on, if it's sand, wouldn't it still kind of melt in place into a smoother spot? And then the wave hit. I'm like, I'm still thinking about that sand. I'm like, well, how would that happen?
I
Like,
think
how would
you
that
watched.
work?
I think you watched these movies in the worst possible way that you could have.
It's great. No, I remember the first time when we were gonna do this, like watching it,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't. Like,
See, I didn't watch them until like we had scheduled it.
Yeah, it was just like, And it was too choppy. It kept bringing you out of the
Yeah.
story to do a different one. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I thought it all worked really well. Do you want to do your closing argument first?
What closing argument?
Well, this is how we do this. We do a closing argument for Sarah for why your movie is the better movie and why she should determine that it's the winner. In Armageddon versus Deep Impact.
Okay. Well, Zachary.
No, don't address it to me.
Well, Zach, I'm like, here's the thing.
He's trying to decide if he should call me Sarah or Derv.
Sarah, you got to realize, like, I'm a simple man. You know what I'm saying? I like simple things.
I'm just a simple country
I
lawyer.
like hot sauce on sandwiches. I like bubble baths. You know, it's endless what I like.
Okay.
Sounds like it ends there.
So what I'm saying is, like, I think we all have a destiny. You know, like, we're all, like, simply here to do tasks. Like, Zach's here, he's like a dad, and he's a good dad. And then you're not a dad, but you got stuff going on.
I'm not a dad yet.
And then your destiny is to be great, and you are. And
she's a mom of the
his
podcast.
destiny is to be a dad, and he is. And my destiny, I'm fucking.
You're also a dad.
I'm oddly handsome, like almost suspiciously handsome.
Suspiciously.
And I think we've all accomplished these tasks. And in Armageddon, their task was to make sure that particular asteroid didn't hit the Earth.
He's really selling it.
And they did great.
I'm worried.
And they did it. Now, in Deep Impact, they blew it in half, and it fucked it up, They fucked up.
Yeah.
So they died, but they
True.
still killed a lot of people. And I want us to really think about how my movie saved the day. And Zach's really fucked shit up. Like, the destiny was not fulfilled.
So in Armageddon, when everything exploded, they didn't really show the aftermath of, like, the debris hitting the Earth.
No, it just burned up. Because
it didn't even
there's
come into the
explosions in
atmosphere?
space, as we were taught.
So it didn't... I can't remember. Did it
No,
go
they
in-
actually did say, like, it would just rain down, like, and dissipate. They'd said something.
It'll
Billy
burn
Bob,
up in the
Billy Bob,
atmosphere.
yeah,
So would
said
there have
something like that.
been big enough pieces to cause
No, what
tsunami
happened,
issues?
Sarah, is they made stars and the sky was more beautiful.
You know
Well,
what?
Paris
yeah,
was
let's go with that.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
already.
and the South Pacific and
Yeah.
New York.
And New York,
But
yeah.
that wasn't their job. They weren't there to blow up those ones because they couldn't have possibly. The
No.
astrologies, it just could not have known about that.
No, Mercury was in retrograde for them.
Scorpio, right?
I forgot
Nothing
to
you can do
say,
about it.
when the wave is first coming in, if you pay attention, there's an oil rig there. I don't know if you noticed that.
There's
we
an
were
oil
like,
rig.
Ben Affleck, get off of that.
AJ!
No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. He was in the desert at his private oil.
Oh, his new
That's
rig.
it.
That's true.
That's it.
So I think
Liv Tyler was on that rig.
summarizes how I feel about, it's just suspicious, I guess.
Just suspicious.
Suspiciously handsome.
Suspiciously handsome.
Okay. Zach?
Now, I'm no big city toilet doctor.
Should have known.
I wish I'd written that.
Good, though. That's good.
All right. My final argument, which is the longest thing that I wrote here, which is a page. Which of these two asteroid movies is superior comes down to flash or substance. Armageddon is flashy and big. It's a Michael Bay action movie from the dialogue to the editing, all the way down to the score. Everything about this movie screams big budget Hollywood blockbuster. Now that's an interesting word. Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
An idea is firmly anchored in the 90s as Armageddon.
It's like you're
Yes.
doing Ira Glass, like
Yes.
a version of Ira Glass, but you're not sure if you should stick with it or not.
Just stick with it. Yeah, go with it.
Deep Impact, on the other hand, is timeless. Sure, there are a few things that indicate the time, but it isn't drenched in the style of the decade. It's a movie. It could have been made in any era. And the human drama of it all. Man, my handwriting's bad.
Of it all?
The human drama of it all would have still worked. The complicated
He's
family
got commas and weird
dynamics
spots in his
and
writing.
selfless sacrifices have left a deep impact on all of us.
Okay.
Which is why it should be your victor. Today I rest my case.
Oh, I like the throw.
That was a throw notebook if
Yeah. He dropped it.
you couldn't hear
Only
that.
slightly scripted.
Okay. So I guess this is my...
Yeah, you have to read your verdict based on your opinion of these two movies and our beautifully cogent arguments simple country lawyer, suspiciously handsome. Go.
Okay. First, I do want to say I wrote down a few of the similarities.
Ooh, I love this.
Okay. Found by a random stranger who is an astronomer.
Sure.
The hangar scene with previously trained astronauts where they're like, this is the new crew.
Yeah.
This is the old crew. And the old crew's like, nope.
What'd you call
We don't
it?
like
Talk
it.
about the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
That's what the guy says.
No, I know. I like
We don't like them. It's just that look. Okay.
I don't take kindly to astronauts.
To people that don't take kindly. So a team member with a fiance that's pregnant at home, or a fiance at home, and then additional pregnancy. Not enough lead time. Ragtag group of guys. One woman in the crew. They blow up a big rock in space. Crewmate left behind. Situations.
One African American guy too.
Oh yeah, I don't have that on here. Yeah.
Was that Blair Underwood?
Yeah, Blair Underwood.
He was good.
Yeah, he was good. I like that. They come back after radio silence, which is like the huge dramatic moment. The one that really got me that I thought was like, okay, guys, is the drawing of the straws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was like,
that was wild.
we like looked at each other.
Both
It was,
movies had
yeah.
the drawing.
Yeah, so we looked at each other like, come on, man. Large
really
monuments
shows.
destroyed.
It really shows that Disney exec was in the meeting with the
Like
Deep
it-
Impact writer.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
He was taking really
Really?
good notes. He was taking really good notes.
I think he had a recorder like George Costanza.
Yes.
No, not
oil
like George
rig.
Costanza.
Not
Like the
mine.
idea of George Costanza, but it didn't work.
Oil rig. I told you that was in the ocean there when they did the last one. Single dad, father figure kind of deal. And both actually showed the Twin Tower destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, but I guess not too crazy because
'cause
it's
that's-
such a big monument.
It's an iconic part of the New York skyline.
Which is
for
what
sure.
gave
and they
the
showed
terrorists
Paris,
the
I think,
idea.
in both of
these
them.
movies
Yeah.
are to blame for that.
Yeah. So I guess verdict.
Sarah, never forget.
Never forget. Okay.
Deep
so
Impact, never forget.
I feel like both of these movies are done like well for what they are. I feel like the one thing is confusing about Armageddon is that they have so much time. Like it's such a long movie, but everything still seems really rushed.
Yeah.
And they didn't even get to space until an hour in. Like it was just
Wait,
really
you're saying Armageddon? seemed
Armageddon.
rushed? Well,
yeah,
yeah,
it seemed rushed, but it was still long. Like it was so much extra.
2.5 hours.
I don't know. It just was hard to watch and easy to watch at the same time.
Because they had to show the rapid plans, yeah.
Yeah. So the hard to watch part was just it was like so long. The easy to watch is that it's funny and like lighter, not as like emotionally.
But it had a lot of but guess what's.
A lot of guess what's. Yeah, a lot of let's see what they do with this problem. Let's throw another problem. So Deep Impact, I thought. I don't know if it's because. I mean, they had a female director, so they have like these characters.
It's a sexist decision because you're female. I got it.
Yeah, that's it. It's totally not it. I think that she did a really good job with the human part of it. Like Zach was saying, I did find myself being emotionally connected to some of the storylines, which I didn't think that I would. But I would watch Armageddon with my dad and have like a good time with like joking around with him or like being silly or something. But Deep Impact, I think, was a better maybe overall movie. Is that a verdict?
The verdict has been rendered. Hear ye, hear ye.
But that's what I enjoyed. But I know that Armageddon did better.
Yeah,
in
and
theaters.
Armageddon is the movie that people remember, but Armageddon is like so. It is the 90s.
Yeah.
And like that's a big part of it.
I think of all the spoofs
No,
in other movies.
it gets lumped into the face-off timeline of this the big
It's
epic,
wild.
the big epic action movies.
Yeah.
Which I'm sorry, that was also Michael Bay, wasn't it?
Maybe no, that's
No,
John
it
Woo.
wasn't. Yeah, I'm
John
sorry.
Woo.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. The Doves.
Yeah, the doves.
gosh.
the sideways jump shooting and the doves. That's my,
Oh, the soundtracks too were quite different.
Yeah.
oh, very.
That-
Lots of classic rock and
After watching
EBN.
this is one of those things. Like now that we're done,
Yeah.
this is one of those things where like watching the movies that get because I did watch them like a month ago. watching them again, I'm like, you know what's messed up is yes, they're the same
so
premise,
similar.
but they're not the same. It's like not the same genre.
Not at all.
No,
That's why it's kind of difficult.
One's like a drama and one's an action movie.
It's like if you were gonna compare like Halloween to a Christmas movie, and you're like, well, the theme is that they're holidays.
It's
Well,
holidays.
hang on, it's two different.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the issue I have. Is like a sentimental
Wait.
Christmas movie where your dad's trying to get home, or like a slasher film. You're like, well, yeah, they're about a holiday.
Hang on,
but
I've got it. We'll compare Halloween to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Okay.
that is my Thanksgiving movie, but I don't
Right?
celebrate Thanksgiving.
It's the
but
only
that
one.
is my Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
movie.
So I think it's what you're in the mood for. I
Yeah,
think they
absolutely.
both serve the movie for what they are and what you want to watch.
And this is the part where I'll compliment Deep Impact. The one thing I was thinking, and I get because Armageddon, it was more like rush. We have to use what we have now. When I was watching Deep Impact, I'm like, yeah, a spaceship with a fucking that can stop its thrusters and use a cable system. I'm like, that's so much smarter than fucking crashing
Why-
a goddamn.
Why could they not use their thrusters and
Yeah, to stop
continue
it.
to go
I know.
around the Earth and go back in time to tell their
Oh, Superman.
to tell their previous selves to continue to do this earlier,
to get us better spaces.
and then it's on one of your loop ones instead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so what
Well,
you want to do is
that was
punish
last
me by
season.
time looping some shit.
That was last season. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about time loops anymore.
No more time loops.
But
Maybe another one sometime. We'll see.
But yeah, this really goes to show that Ben Affleck was right. That you're like, why in the fuck would you take guys that just because they can drill and you're like, you don't, Bruce Willis is like, you don't understand drilling is an art. Now here's the thing, I am in a trade. I totally get that. But I'm still sure that I could train an astronaut to plumb a toilet.
They're
better
geniuses.
Right.
Better, the quicker than
They're
you could
the
get
best.
a plumber to
Yeah.
then figure out how to go to outer space.
Yeah.
And also you're doubling down because I'm sure that in some capacity you could not necessarily pilot the ship, but have an idea versus,
Right.
oh, I have no fucking idea how
Yeah.
any of this works.
Right.
They're
Versus
genius.
You drill, because here's the thing.
Well, Buscemi.
And here's
Yeah,
the thing.
he's
And-
humping a gun right now.
this is what
like,
doesn't make sense about Armageddon and the Ben Affleck part. Because and I know at the end they do kind of go with Ben Affleck's gut,
Yeah.
but they're like, no hot dog. And what he's doing is going, the system is wrong. The computer is wrong. I know your thing and so do you.
It's my
That this
intuition.
machine can do better. It's intuition. And they're like, no, we don't do it. We got to trust the computers. You're like, well, if you're just going to trust the computers,
What's the
then
point?
what the fuck are
Yeah.
you doing?
Then you don't need these guys. That's
Yeah.
the point.
But
that-
is
so at
your
the-
specialty really a specialty when you're on a different surface
Right. Drilling into iron
that wouldn't be,
that you couldn't drill through.
or you don't know? There's so
Right.
many unknowns.
Right.
They
Exactly.
didn't know because they overshot the landing, Zach.
They
Right,
overshot
right.
the zone. They
So
landed
it's
in zone
unplanned.
9.
He
It's
landed
another-
them on an iron plate, and we know this because Steve Buscemi
Is a genius.
Is
Right,
a genius.
right.
Yep.
Well,
And a pervert.
thank God.
Yeah, that's a genius.
we need
Genius.
both.
Genius can get away with it.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a fine line.
Do you think Steve Buscemi's character in Armageddon becomes his character in Con Air?
Well, I was gonna say, what do you mean Steve Buscemi's character? You mean Steve Buscemi on
Right.
set?
Well, I'm
He
saying,
just
do you
plays
think he
himself.
becomes the guy from Con Air? Do you
Yeah.
think Steve Buscemi is the
Yeah.
same guy in all of his movies?
What happened is to get
him.
away from the bookie he owed all that money to, he
Yes.
just went on a berserk killing
He
spree
became a
so he'd get
weirdo killer.
arrested so he could get away from the bookies who
Yeah.
wouldn't kill him.
Yeah.
That's it. Wow.
Well, we did
We
it.
That's
did
a whole
it.
nother
If you
season.
need any service.
You
Wow.
just connect all Steve Buscemi's movies, and like he's really just it's one life,
Oh,
You-
boy.
Zach-
different parts of his life.
Zach, do you want to take a minute and say thank you to Sarah and how awesome
I
she
do want to
was
say
tonight?
thank you to Sarah. She's fantastic. We definitely need to bring her back next time
Yeah.
we have guests because she's excellent.
I'll come back.
Oh my God, we
Maybe
did
you-
it.
maybe
She's-
you-
we booked her.
Yeah,
It-
maybe
it's
you
like
pick a
just got-
movie
you
I
just
like
got her
next
number.
time.
You just
No,
got her
no, we
number,
can't
bro.
do that. We can't do that.
Oh, okay.
Why would you think we would do that?
That's fine. I'll watch whatever.
So you know what we learned, and without giving away any specifics, we learned
Together.
that the show is better when it's a movie that we haven't seen already,
okay.
or like at least one of us hasn't seen it.
So you
it's
don't
important.
have like the preconceived notion.
Yeah, because
or-
when we go into it knowing, oh, I love this movie, it's harder to have a fun time.
Imagine like a verbal hug. That's what we do the whole time. Is just like
Yeah.
embrace
Oh,
each other.
it's
Like
so
God,
good.
man.
Oh,
I'm so glad we did this movie
that makes
together.
sense. Yeah.
Plus, we're friends.
plus we're friends.
There's that.
So Sarah, in addition to being a world-class podcast guest for us, is also
a mother to us.
A mother to the show. And from her sweet womb also was born
dripping honey.
Oh my god.
She has some music that she does. She's an incredibly talented musician. She plays in the band Alone at 3 a.m. She has a new album out with her rap group Massive Nights. So go listen to that. Check them out. Do whatever you do with the stuff and the things and whatnot.
I think it's free maybe right now.
There you go. See?
Ryan's in charge of all that.
Well, call him.
Yeah, let's call him right. Get him on the horn.
Just right now.
Get him on the horn.
Get him on the
horn. I like that phrase,
Who'd
and I'm
you
going to
turn
use it a
around
lot
to?
more.
It's
Who was your
definitely one of my
secretary?
favorites.
That's the producer.
Oh, gotcha.
The get him on the horn and coming in hot. I think
Coming in hot is fun, too.
Those are my two most used, I feel like.
Well, we did it.
We did it.
We did it, guys.
Yay.
And that is not
Thanks
doing
for having
anything,
me.
is it?
Why didn't you hit the button?
I did hit the button.
Hit the button.
It's been super fun.
Woo. Well, thanks for listening this week. But guess what? Next week, we are talking the Raid Redemption versus Dread with our friend Sam Fisher. Tell all your friends about us and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what we do, you can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us online at KeystoneCopycats.com. We're at Keystone Copycats on Instagram and Facebook, and weirdly at Keystone Copycat, singular, on Twitter. If you've got something to say, you can email us at KeystoneCopycats@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 513-239-7682. Check out Sin Clarity, A Dinosaur's Tale at dinosauruspodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Zach, and he is...
Please.
Get the fuck out of here.
Bye.